welcome to the Chronicles of Yarnia, the podcast from Montclair's local yarn store. I am Jen.
Amanda.
Kathleen.
Haley.
And we're the team from Yarnia. We are in Montclair, New Jersey, and the podcast is all about all things knitting, crochet, fiber,
spinning,
with
the occasional weaving. We have to do some weaving so we can talk about it.
I know.
Yeah.
We're very
Embroidery.
interested in craft.
If I could ever find the 4 hours I need to work my loom, I have plans.
I have a flip loom in my dining room.
Yeah.
Have I used it? No. One of these days.
I have tapestry stuff. I actually just finished a big tapestry weave, and it's sitting on the loom, waiting for me to put it onto something else. But if it's about yarn, we'll talk about
Fibery
it.
things.
Right now we're all on kind of like a sock kick, which we'll talk a little bit more about.
Yes.
But also wanted to mention, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and if you hit the little alarm bell, you'll get notifications as to when we post videos. And we also post like tutorials and what's the word I'm looking for?
Tutorials. Like interviews and interviews with makers and things like that.
Yeah.
We have more of those tutorials and interviews with makers in our heads than are actually in our feed right now.
But eventually they will get there.
Yeah, we'll
they will
be
get there.
dabbling in vlogs later this year.
Oh,
so
yes.
That's right.
All the blogs.
That's right.
Those are.
It's a very exciting development
can't
that's
wait.
coming. And this is episode
56.
There we go.
So, welcome to our new subscribers, and welcome back to our returning folks. Last episode we had just hit 1,000 subscribers right before that. Woohoo! So we were very excited about that, and obviously a lot of you were too. We had almost 1,000 comments on Instagram.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
That's
so cool.
so fun.
So
to look
awesome.
through, too.
So
I
cool.
love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, like, I kind of got addicted to reading all the YouTube comments, too. Like,
Yes.
every time I was at my computer, I'm like, did anyone else comment? Did anyone else comment? What did they say?
Well,
So
I was reading the Instagram comments, too.
Uh-huh.
And every time someone would comment, because we asked people what your favorite weight of yarn is, I kept, someone would say, it's fingering. I'm like, oh, yeah, I love fingering. And then it's DK. No, I love DK. No, my favorite's worsted. I really love a good worsted. So, you had me going up and down the gauge.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Then it's like, what projects can I do in fingering? What can I do in DK?
Yes.
What's a good worsted one? And it's like, oh my god. So we
I
read
would say,
everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
we definitely do, and I'm gonna kind of go through the Instagram ones even more. In the beginning, I was catching up and I was liking all of them, and that lasted about 4 hours. and no, seriously, it's like it just got so it exploded. So
mine come up
in
with
the best way.
notifications on my phone. So
Mine too. Every time it's like you have
single
60 new notifications. You have 35 new notifications. So
It's
It
fun.
was really exciting. So
yeah, it was very fun.
Thank you.
So shall we talk about our winner later in the podcast?
I think we should do it now.
All right.
Let's do it now.
Let's do it now, yeah. So, Lori L. Parsons, you
Yay!
commented on Instagram, you subscribe on YouTube, and you commented on YouTube as well. So, it made it really easy to find you. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
What does Lori win again? We'll
Lori
remind
wins
the viewers.
$100 worth of yarn of her choice from our web store.
Woo-hoo!
So, just, take a look there, see what you would like to spend your $100 on, and we will pull it and get it shipped out to you. So, congratulations. Thank you, everybody, for playing. It really was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And
it was.
It's gone on for like 10 days. I mean, it's really been, we've just been,
Yeah, and we'll have something else when we get to 5,000.
That's right, for sure. Who knows what that will be.
Motivation for everybody who hasn't subscribed below.
That's right.
Keep that going. So
That's right.
we get to our next giveaway. Next big giveaway.
Next
even
big
better.
goal.
Yeah.
Yes. Because we're doing giveaways. Like, we decided to do more giveaways because also, I mean, it's fun for us.
Yeah,
so
it
much
is. It's a
fun.
lot of fun.
Like, who
Yeah.
doesn't like to win stuff?
Yep. And,
I like to win stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even the excitement of being entered for stuff, the possibility of winning stuff is even fun. As Haley and I have really started watching a lot more podcasts this summer, we realized how it is really just, more part of the podcast culture, and it's fun. It's really fun.
It does build community too, because like with other channels, like
because people ask, like then there's an incentive for people to answer the questions too. Like it's one thing if there's everyone's got a busy life. If there's no kind of possible positive outcome, a lot of times people don't take the time. But when there's something where they might win, then we get to hear all this good info.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Totally.
yeah. And I do think though, Fingering and DK seem to come out on top.
Oh,
They were
I think so.
are
I was
the
like, wow,
most
there's
most
a lot
prevalent.
of-
DK is such a good sweater weight.
Yeah, it really
Right?
is. Unless you want a super warm sweater, unless you want
Yeah.
something like heavy, like it's a more wearable indoors kind of sweater.
It's
I
a
would
good
say.
shawl weight too. I mean,
It is,
honestly,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like it's a good, I don't want to take an eternity on this project.
Yeah,
But I also
yeah.
want
Mhm.
something that looks a little more
drapey
tailored?
and
Yeah,
tailored.
drapey,
Exactly. That's
yeah.
what. Yep.
DK can go a long way.
It's the perfect wearable blanket kind of shawl where you're
Yep.
what was
Yep.
it, socially acceptable blanket.
Yes.
Yes.
So like when you're in that over air conditioned
Yeah.
space or you're going back to the office or something
Mhm.
and you're like, I need to not freeze my tuchus off.
Yep.
But I still need to look awesome.
Yeah.
I know. I can't wait till fall weather when I get to wear my Whispering Willow that I made in
Ooh,
DK.
yes.
I can wait till fall weather.
You're perfectly happy with,
I'm
but it's gonna
happy.
be 90 today. I think not too
About
bad.
90 yesterday.
That's my temps, guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to later in the week when it's more like 82.
Yeah.
Our dog
Southern
has
girl.
not been walking. She has been not even making
She
it
won't
to the
even.
end of the driveway.
She will.
She's
She
like,
will
I
not.
can't.
Yeah.
I am with Anna.
Yeah.
It's gross
Me too.
out.
Me too.
It's gross. It's like walking into a shower. And humidity. Well, we should keep things moving.
Yes, we
and
should.
what are we going to talk about first? We're going to talk about
Finished objects.
Finished objects.
And this episode, we are making sure Amanda goes first on everything because we totally accidentally shortchanged her last time. It was
That's
not
okay.
intentional. The rest of us just could not shut up, so she had
That's
no time
okay,
to talk.
that's okay.
And-
We're just too
So,
chatty.
do you did you bring some finished objects?
I did.
All
and
right.
I finished
Another one?
3 things this week.
Woohoo!
And had my
And you have your one from last time.
Yeah, I had mine from last time.
Excellent.
So yeah, we're all ready to go.
All right.
So first, I will show you, which I've
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
So
I
cute.
finished Mew.
Oh.
So this is Eric's birthday present, Mew. He got him at the beginning of June. I just keep forgetting to bring him,
Oh,
but I
so
finally
cute. Oh my
remembered him
goodness.
this time. Yay!
He is so cute.
His
Amazing.
eyes are perfect.
So Mew is a Pokemon. We talked extensively about games last time. It was at
We
the
did.
end of last
That
time's
was
episode.
so good.
Yeah.
And definitely a lot of people chimed in.
Yeah.
People chimed in with.
I forgot to look up how to get us to be a Pokestop.
And someone else asked a question. Someone did. Someone who's a Animal Crossing person and also a Pokemon player.
Oh yeah.
Commented. So
Yeah.
so I posted my Dream Island code on.
Oh, I'll post mine.
Yeah, post yours too. But also, there was a Pokemon question that one of you is probably way better qualified to answer than me.
What is
Because
it?
I know nothing. I don't know, but we have to look in the comments.
We both have boys, like young boys, who.
But I think Amanda played before that.
Amanda played before that, and I think
I also
I
have
just
a 21-year-old daughter who's an
Yeah.
avid Pokemon player. Has been
Mhm.
playing since 2005. So
Yeah,
I
heard it.
started Pokemon Go so that I could appreciate what she was talking about.
Yeah.
And then Eric was born in 2014, so he must have been 1
Oh my
when I
gosh.
started playing Pokemon
Yeah.
Go,
Mhm.
and now he's obsessed. And now we play the card games, and I would love to
Fun.
find a nearby tournament for 7-year-olds to play the card games because
I would say look at East Side Mags.
Yeah.
Which is
they're
a
good place.
fantastic comic book store
Mhm.
in Montclair. Highly recommend them. Super family friendly.
they have like a
amazing.
game. Do they have a
Mhm.
game
They
room?
they do games and stuff. I don't know
Yeah,
what they're
they
doing
kind
with
of
the pandemic,
connect
but they're
people.
going to be moving to a larger location
Oh, are
this
they?
fall.
Oh, cool. Nice. I didn't know that.
And they are the nicest people in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, they seem to do a lot of community type things.
If I had more
see them
time, I
mentioned
would
a lot.
help
Yeah.
coordinate those things because
Yeah.
Eric would love it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I frankly really like playing Pokemon card game too. Anyway, this is Mew. Also happening in
Before we go.
also happening in the
Definitely.
Pokeverse is Molly Girl has a new Pokemon themed mini set that
Oh my
is starting. It's going to go for several months. And Yarnia is a partner store, so stay tuned on that if you're interested. We're going to have more information in our newsletter about the Pokemon minis from Molly Girl that are coming out.
Cool.
I have a project you'll see soon on the podcast with my minis.
I gotta start saving Pokemon images.
Oh,
Yeah. And also, if you want to subscribe to the newsletter,
Yeah,
just
if
go
you're
to our
not-
website.
Yeah.
And there is, it's at the bottom of the
It's at
homepage,
the bottom.
right?
Scroll all the way to the
Scroll
bottom.
down,
homepage.
and there's a place there. Just put in your email address, and you can subscribe yourself.
Yeah.
And then you'll start getting our weekly newsletter that Jen writes every week. And it's just
Yeah.
really great. People love it.
I
Lots
know
of
the
information.
minis, the first set of minis are en route to us somewhere in the U.S. Postal Service.
They're in fact, they're somewhere in Montclair. We know.
By the time they get here, I mean, they're not here yet, and we're recording the podcast, but they'll probably be in the newsletter, and I want to make sure that if anybody's interested in those, that you're definitely subscribed to the newsletter, because otherwise, by the next time we record a podcast, they could be
sold out already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Newsletters
these are going to be super fun.
Newsletters where you're going to find the first notifications of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Pokemon.
And then there's
Sagas
also
will
Instagram,
continue.
don't forget too. If
Yeah.
you're an Instagram person, follow us on Instagram.
Love
Because we
him.
randomly get things there.
So he has floral
cute.
wire in his tail.
That is
Yeah.
such.
Look at
Like,
that.
look at this little
He's
Mew
great. He
tail.
looks so good.
He looks so
And what
good.
yarn did you use for that again, Amanda?
This is Sugar Bush Crisp, which
Mhm.
has really good clear colors, solid
Mhm.
yarn.
Nice smooth yarn.
Exactly,
Yeah.
nice
Mhm.
smooth round.
Mhm. Cool.
Good stitchiness.
Perfect
I have
for
another
Pokemon.
stuffy.
Yes,
Because
let's see
apparently
what-
that's
oh,
my theme.
That is your thing.
I think I've seen this one. At least in picture. Oh, it's so cute.
Oh my god.
so cute.
Adipose.
Adipose.
Oh
So
my
Wow,
for all you
it's cool. It's
Peruvians out there,
Yeah, it's
you
even
will
bigger than-
appreciate. Yeah.
I love it. It's
Well,
so great.
So this
God.
is Adipose by, I have this sticky.
Here, I'll hold them up.
This
Keep
is,
it.
Mew is by One Up Crochet. Her patterns are
Yes.
on Etsy. Adipose is by Erin Shirley. This pattern is on Ravelry. So my Beth, she turned 21.
Yeah.
And I got her two things. First, I got her a Katrinkles Mended set.
Nice.
Ooh.
Because
Yeah.
she likes mending her clothes.
Mhm.
And then on Wednesday before her birthday on Friday, I saw this on my Ravelry favorites, and I was like, that's what I was going to do for her birthday. I
Nice.
have 2.5 days.
Because she's a total
that,
Hoovian.
yeah.
She
Right.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
She actually started watching Doctor Who during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I thought
And
she watched before that.
I
know.
totally would have pegged her as
Yeah.
watching that before
I
that.
know, right? But no, she didn't. I didn't. Like, we had never watched it.
Wow.
But she was locked in her dorm room essentially for
Aw.
6 weeks because she was in Iowa. Pandemic started and it was like bad here and not bad there when everybody was coming home. So she was like, I'll just stay here with the international students. And so she stayed there for 6 weeks
Mhm.
until it sort of calmed down here in the
Mhm.
New York, New Jersey area in May, which left a whole lot of time for
Yeah.
watching all of the Doctor Who. But yeah, there's an episode that has these little characters.
I always love the
walking
Adipose.
around.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cute pattern.
I don't know. I made one at one point too. I don't. It was
It
much
was
smaller.
much smaller. It was like a marshmallow.
Well,
Well,
yes,
it was bigger than that.
the-
but
Well, it looked.
it was more like Mew sized.
Yeah, the
I don't know if
real
it's on my Ravelry.
Adipose, like in the show, he can pick them up with his hand, right? So this is a little large.
Mm-hmm.
The pattern is written for worsted weight,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a bulky, but it was Wednesday noon, and I looked in my stash and saw what I had a lot of white,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a big skein of white bulky. So that's what I used.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
not?
And it's nice and huggable.
It's
Totally,
almost
totally.
Like a pillow.
Yeah.
It's a pillow bag.
Actually, yeah, we were
And we
driving home from
amazingly
New Hampshire
found
and
the
Charles-
safety eyes. Woohoo! Big
Yes! This is Safety Eyes contributed by Kathleen last minute. Thank goodness.
Which actually, we
So
have safety eyes somewhere in the store. I still need to find them.
Yeah. So these are
They're
10
in the
millimeters. I use 10 millimeters on
And
the
one of the few.
big ones. The worsted one called for 8 millimeter, but since it's bigger, I use
Yeah,
bigger
no,
ones.
Yeah,
it's
it looks great.
It really
Good
makes
proportion.
it super cute.
Yeah.
So
Super
those are my
cute.
2 stuffy bows.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's
Very
balance him.
Yeah,
Balance
he
it
was
up. You can,
He's joining us
we
today.
can have the
I
podcast
know.
mascots here.
Yeah, really.
They're really fun. I love making toys.
There we go.
They're
Yes.
so
I know, they're
fast.
so
so
fun.
fast.
Yeah.
They're fast. They're fun. These are
They're
both
satisfying.
crocheted. You can knit stuffy toys too.
Mhm.
Oh, totally.
But the
But-
crochet goes so fast. I feel
It
like
does
it's
go
just,
so
It
fast.
just, you fly
It's
through it.
also a little bit like of that kind of modular thing with crochet where you can just kind of like increase wherever and like make whatever and attach however. And knitting, I feel like sometimes you're like, oh, I could make that shape by increasing or short rows or whatever. In crochet, you can just kind of like
You can just go, just do a few stitches and you're done.
It's more planning and knitting.
Yeah.
You have to kind of like see it, but with crochet, you can just kind of like add it on there.
Yeah. This guy was interesting because like this one, all the parts were made and then like stitched together. It's similar to the way that Toft is. The Toft animals are put together. This one, you like made the parts and then incorporated them like single crochet
like that.
through the parts.
Around
I never
that.
want to do sewing again after you.
I know, it was so fast.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like what makes his arms look seamless as part of his body.
And it makes it sturdy too.
Yeah.
And it really does work with the look of that item too. Like that's how the adipose looked. So
blob of fat.
Yep. So I know I was gonna make some, like get well gifts for Jean. My husband had knee replacement like a month ago now, but he was not. He was on the couch for like 3 days.
Sick enough.
So exactly, he didn't need anything to encourage him to get up. He's just been doing it.
That's what happens if you're not sick enough to get a present. You get well quick, then it's like,
I should make
get something else
as a congratulations for getting well so quick.
A reward.
Yeah, every time.
Good job with that.
Every time I go into Animal Crossing, I see the fossils, and I think a little crocheted fossil.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I have the pattern in my library. Yeah.
Oh,
I've got to do it.
I'll link that pattern below too because that sounds adorable.
Yeah. So the same one. It has the bell bag. It has the bells. It's a really.
It has the leaf, right?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love the little leaf.
I know. It's like every time I'm like dying to make them, but then there's always other projects. You know how that goes.
There's always
other
projects. Speaking of other projects,
We
what else
did not know that we were all nerdy when we met each other.
No, we didn't. I think we kept that a little under the wraps.
Yeah, we totally did.
Amanda was one of the first, like, I'm catching a Pokemon. And I was like, oh, my Pokemon go!
Oh, but like the Doctor Who, the Star Trek, like the Zelda in your house.
Yes, lots of Zelda.
When I show you my finished object, I'll tell you how I finished it yesterday.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I was always the one. Several of my friends got married and had kids before I did, and I was always the aunt that would go and hang out at their house and play Mario with the kids all night.
Eat the hard levels for them.
Yeah. Auntie Van, you have square eyes? You've been watching TV all night? You've been playing Mario? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe I didn't go to sleep. And we start hearing.
Love me some Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
Me too. Let's
all right.
see.
What else do we have? Oh, that's right. Oh, the little bear sweater. Oh, love these.
This is my year of knitting for everybody else.
Yeah, really.
Everything. I have so many gift knits. I made these for the boys, this for Beth. This is for, I have 3 friends this summer having babies in August and September.
Oh my goodness.
So all 3 of them are getting
my goodness.
a teddy bear sweater.
So I love it so much.
It makes me want one. Like
a baby or a sweater?
A sweater. A sweater.
I'll make one for you. Would you wear it? Would you wear it?
Oh, the little teddy bear.
I mean,
it is.
It's so cute.
So
super
cute.
Yay. This is a pattern by PetiteKnit. And she knit the sample in a fingering weight and a silk mohair held double, which is super cute.
Oh, fluffy.
Not so baby friendly.
I mean,
that's her
signature.
Yeah, having wet babies. I mean, there's liquid coming out.
Always, yeah.
All the time.
That mohair's gonna.
And Teddy's like teething now, so he just like soaks through bibs and things.
Also, some of them like chew on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all chew on.
They all chew on everything.
Shoes. Anything that's on the floor.
Yeah.
Knitting ball bands. Teddy is obsessed.
Oh, really?
If he finds a knitting ball band, he's like,
so's my cat. Maybe very similar. Just kind of like.
I know.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Anyway, I have some chewed up knitting ball bands at home.
Oh, so cute. Love that.
It is adorable.
So it's just this is super quick. I finished each of these. So I switched out the silk mohair and fingering for Cherished DK.
Nice.
Which is the perfect baby fabric because it's machine washable, machine dryable. I've machine washed and dried sweaters myself out of that, and it looks pristine.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I always use you as my example when I tell people about that.
Yeah,
we know it because
we have the experience.
Yes.
We're just getting a new dryer today. I should machine wash and dry Teddy's blanket, the big crochet one I made for him. I'll bring it in and show you, because he has literally slept with that every night for 6 months. So it's got a lot of wear, but it still looks great. But anyway, so I know this will still look good. Multiple washes. The mother doesn't have to worry about like
delicate care or anything. Yeah.
It's good for gift giving too, because not everybody
Definitely.
is up for a level of hand knit or hand crocheted care.
I'm not up for that. Most of the
I'm up for it. Sometimes.
You only have 2.
Yeah,
I only have 2.
Sometimes. Exactly.
But yeah, so this one, I knit this 3 to 6 month size. And what was I going to say? Oh, something about this pattern. It's just a plain sweater, which makes it go fast. I knit it about 2.5 days. The basic sweater, and then, yeah. This is the second one that I finished. I have a third started, so with number 1.
Yeah.
I cast on this collar.
Assembly line bear sweaters.
Yeah.
How many times?
I cast it on 3 times yesterday because I was working on conference calls.
Oh,
I've been
wow.
there.
And first I cast on 57 stitches instead of 66 that you're supposed to start with. And then, so I was like, okay, fine, rip it back. But I didn't notice that until I had already switched the needle size. So then I cast on the second one on my larger needle. So then I had to rip it back. And then I cast it on the third time, this one. And I actually started on the larger needle. I cast on the larger needle, then immediately switched to the smaller, which gives it just a little bit more stretch in this collar. Which I think is a good strategy. Like, it's not in the pattern.
Especially for a baby sweater. You know, babies have big heads.
They're big
Yeah.
heads.
And I tried to, I have a picture of Teddy in this. I'll put a picture
Yay!
in.
All right.
And it is a little tighter on this head. Not bad. I mean, I put it on,
you put
and
it
I
over
got it
once
on,
here,
and he didn't even fuss.
Mhm.
But this one will be even just a little bit looser. With the lucky third person that gets a sweater. This does have short rows at the top, and they're doing raglans at the same time. So if you've never done a sweater before with increases and raglans and short rows, just FYI. If you've never
but
done,
it's only going to be a few rows where
it's
they
only
really
a few
need to
rows.
pay
Yeah,
a
it's
ton
like
of
11 or
attention.
12 rows. If you've never done it before, but you've done short rows in other projects, and you've done raglans independently in other projects, this could be a great project to put those two together. As it's a great way to shape a sweater and just pull up the back a little bit.
Yep.
So,
It's the best way to shape a sweater.
it is the best way, yeah. Well, there are others.
There are other ways, yes.
We'll talk about some of those other ways when I get to my parents' sweater.
All right.
So, teddy bear sweater
I love
by
it.
PetiteKnit.
Love it.
We'll let Mew sit on that one.
There you go. Now.
Yeah, so eventually these will be done. I think I'm going to make Teddy. I pulled some of the Cherish, the one that like self-patterns.
Yes.
I pulled some of the Cherish to just make the same sweater pattern for Teddy. Because we don't see that. I haven't used the Cherish. I
Yeah.
love it. I've used similar yarns in the past. But I think that'll be good to show you guys too, how that Cherish turns out. And it just takes me 3 days.
Baby sweaters are a great way if
They're
you've
fun.
never done a sweater before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, there's always some kid somewhere who needs a sweater or
Yes.
wants a sweater. So, like, if you just want to learn how to do, like, a sweater, like, the basic concepts,
Yeah.
or you want to learn how to do, like, your short rows and your increases
Yeah.
at the same time, do a baby sweater and, like,
So much faster than
bang
doing
it out.
an adult sweater.
Yes. How many rows are across the back of an adult sweater?
oh, God. This one?
Yeah. Yes. 22 rows across the back of that sweater.
Yeah. I had
You
a
can
couple
learn
hundred.
fast.
Yeah, exactly.
22 stitches.
22 stitches.
22
Yeah,
stitches
yeah.
between the two raglan increases.
That's less than a sock.
Yeah, exactly.
It's less than a
Exactly.
sock.
Quarter of a sock.
It's super fast. So.
Yeah.
And also, if you hate it, you can just rip out the baby sweater because it's like,
You're
2 days.
less
Yay big.
invested.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all
definitely.
practice. It's all
It's all
practice.
practice.
exactly.
Yeah. That's how you
Exactly.
learn. What else you got?
Well, next I have socks. So unless people want to start talking about socks.
All right, why don't we do our
Talk
other,
about
Let's do our
your
finished objects.
objects, and then we'll go into socks.
And then we'll go into, sounds
Okay.
good. All right, so I'm wearing the moving my braids, which are fuzzy. I'm wearing the Aliso Creek top, which was our summer sweater class,
So
and I did it
pretty.
in Summer Solstice from Juniper Moon Farms, and it's Aliso Creek top by Irina Anikeeva. So I am very happy with how this came out. I did shorter sleeves than the pattern, and I did it slightly cropped. This is completely unblocked.
So cute.
Look, you can see the tails coming out because
I
didn't bother.
love the yarn. It's so pretty. I haven't used
pretty?
this one.
It has a little bit of a sheen and a tweed at
Yes.
the
You
same
want to grab a
time.
couple off the shelf?
It's a little slubby.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit slubby. It's a sport weight yarn. I have to say, like, even though it's a sport weight yarn, this sweater was relatively quick. It is definitely an intermediate level sweater, just in terms of you're doing.
Are these twisted?
These are twisted. It's twisted
It's
rib.
all twisted
Lights.
rib, yeah.
It's tubular cast on, tubular bind off, twisted rib,
You want to bring them?
lace. The increases in it's a round yoke sweater. The increases are incorporated into the chart. This is totally unblocked. It will smooth out a little bit when you're blocking. I'm just yanking on it. And here comes Haley. La la.
With the yarn. So this is Summer Solstice by Juniper Moon Farms.
Yes.
And it was a new yarn released this year.
Yes,
and
it was brand
linen,
new.
cotton, viscose, I believe.
A little silk or not silk?
No,
Can't look at the
no,
label.
I don't
No
think
silk?
it has any silk. But I think the viscose is
The
what gives
viscose
the
is
sheen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the viscose
yeah.
is
Yeah.
sheen.
A couple of people from your class have been working on it at knit night now and then, so
Yeah.
I've gotten to see it in progress a few times.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Really, really lovely. It's a lovely weight to wear. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely like a very cool sweater. Like it's you know,
It's not going to make you hot.
it's not going
Yeah.
to make you hot at all.
Yay.
And I
Perfect
will
summer
say,
job.
talking about cast-ons, this tubular cast-on I had to do twice, even though, yes, I was teaching the class and a couple of the students did too. So there was a few things. Because this is linen, cotton, viscose, and a little bit of poly, it's a plant fiber. So plant fiber doesn't have the stretch
Right.
that a wool fiber does. So my favorite way to do a tubular cast on is to do a provisional cast on, crochet provisional cast on, half the number of stitches, and then the first row you knit one of the provisional stitches and then you yarn over, and then you knit one, yarn over across, and the next row you turn it, and then you slip the knit that you worked, and then you purl the yarn overs. So doing that tends to be a little bit stretchier of a tubular cast on, which is fine in a wool or an animal fiber blend or even an acrylic blend because it kind of
It squinches back in a little bit.
back in,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it doesn't, it stretches out in a plant fiber. So what I did to control that kind of additional stretch for this is I did the tubular cast on a much smaller needle. In my case, because I'm a loose knitter, I did the ribbing on 2s and I did the body on 3s. Normal human beings would probably do the ribbing on 3s and the body on 4s. I did the cast on a 0. Loose 0. And I did those setup rows on the 0, and then I immediately switched to my 2s, and it was perfect. It is a little, like you can feel it, like there's not a lot of give there, but I actually don't want a lot of
That's a
okay.
good thing, exactly, in a neckline. You don't want it to be like getting...
I don't want to...
There was one sweater, remember, that I actually had to rip out the ribbing and re-knit it because
Yes.
if you've got a neckline that's loose, it becomes a cold shoulder top, which you don't necessarily want.
And with this sweater, you couldn't really rip out the ribbing and knit it back up because
It's
the
part of
ribbing
the pattern.
flows into the pattern. So
Yeah, exactly.
the
That
other
would not
trick,
work.
the other trick I suggested to anyone who had issues with that it was like maybe it was a little bit too loose, is because it's a tubular cast on, you can run a little strand of elastic through and actually like clear beading elastic or clear beading thread, just run through that little tubular cast on and then adjust it is perfect.
Is that what we have? That's what we have on
That's
the
why we
cover?
have it in the back.
That's
Somebody
right.
came and picked some of this.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Excellent.
Good.
Good.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes you don't want a lot in. You just
Yeah.
want like
I remembered you
little
dropped
bit.
it off, but I didn't remember what it was
And
for
you're like,
after a while. I'm like,
"What
I
is
know, we
this?"
have this there. No, I knew you brought it in, but I didn't remember what project it was for this. There we go. Okay.
yeah, but yes.
So, cast on too tight, use a bigger needle. Cast on too loose,
Use
use
a smaller needle.
It's the easiest way to adjust it as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned.
And you know what? Just
you are
now.
not married to the needles. That are
No,
in
no,
the
no,
No.
never.
No.
Anticipating questions, because I know the kind of questions that we get. is there a name? Is the cast-on, the tubular cast-on, that you use one of the specific ones, or is it the Gen tubular cast-on?
No, it's not the Gen tubular cast-on. It's definitely one that I researched. It's just a different variant of. There are a couple of different ways to do a tubular cast-on. The way that was written in the pattern is not my favorite way, and it's basically you do a provisional cast-on, and then you knit a couple of rows of stockinette, and then you fold that in half, and you knit the knits from the front and the purls from the back.
That's Italian, right?
Italian is the one where it's like a long tail cast-on. It's tricky.
Oh.
But that's like a traditional provisional cast-on. I find that to actually be sometimes a little bit too tight. I also think it's super fussy.
I'll put the name of whatever.
That's what I was thinking.
Or we can link to, other ones. The Italian tubular cast-on is like a long tail tubular cast-on. It's tricky to work in the round, and it's tricky to work on circular needles. That one, the best tutorial I found for that one, and it was one that I had to watch like 18 times, is Ysolda Teague's Italian tubular cast-on.
I remember watching that and using that for something after you recommended it.
It's super handy if you don't want to do a provisional. My favorite one, if I have access to a crochet hook and some waste yarn, is to do the one that I taught these guys. And it's you crochet over your knitting needle to do the provisional. You could also crochet a chain and then pick up into the back
I love the
loops.
crocheting over the knitting needle. That's what Seisha recommends for her Tannenbaum too.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
And it's so easy. It's one of those things, it sounds a little odd, but once you do it, you're like, this is just the simplest thing.
So much
and then
easier.
you've got like easy loops to work into. It's just, you've got normal size stitches.
Yeah, and it knocks off like 3 steps.
Yeah, totally worth doing. Yep.
So once you do that,
it's easy to take out.
and it's easy to take
Very
out.
easy to pull out.
So you crochet over your
All
needle,
the things.
and then you knit, when you're knitting those loops on the needle, you knit one from the crochet, then you yarn over, and then you knit one, and then you yarn over, and you knit one, and you yarn over. And then the next row, you purl your knits, and you knit your yarn overs. I'm sorry, you slip your knits that you've just knit as if to purl. Sorry, there's like a motorcycle outside. And then you knit your yarn overs. And then that gives you like a couple of different rows, like 2 rows of tubular knitting. And that tubular knitting is what makes this little
beautiful rolled edge.
Beautiful rolled
and
edge.
Continuous looking.
It looks like ready to wear. Like
Yes.
it looks like
It looks like
machine
machine knit.
Yeah.
That's the folklore one, folklore cardigan that I wore last time.
Yes.
That's what the edges on that one look like.
Exactly.
Where your ribs just go to the edge and then
Just roll around. It is so pretty.
It's a beautiful, I really do love a tubular.
Yeah.
And then you work your ribbing, and then after you've done a couple of rows, you can unzip your provisional cast on, and it's so satisfying to unzip it because it just kind of like, you
just
think
stays
it's going to
there.
unravel, but it just stays there, and like you can,
right.
it's so satisfying.
I bet.
Oh, I love it. I was totally pushing all the students. I was like, do it, and then unzip it. And they were like, okay.
You're having too much fun over there,
You're
Jen.
crazy. But then they were like, oh my God, you're so right. I'm like, I know.
It's so cool.
So cool.
So, all right.
But I'm very pleased with how it came out, and I think
Really
it'll look
pretty.
a lot better once I actually block it. Because I finished it at 1:30 in the morning last night when I was
Yeah.
watching Below Deck.
What we got here, we're
Oh
like,
my goodness.
just cast off, not blocked. Just cast off, not blocked.
The best show ever, Below Deck. Below Deck Mediterranean, Below Deck Sailing Yachts.
What's it on?
Will's
What
mom
channel?
watches that.
Bravo.
Okay.
Will watches it?
Will's mom.
Oh, I was like,
No, not Will.
It's like Top Chef in that it's the perfect intersection of people who are doing their job really well, and also reality TV. So you also get you get a bunch of 20-year-olds who do their job really, really well and are completely messed up and drink way too much. And drama, and then also a little bit of lifestyles of the rich and famous, where terrible yachting guests who are just horrible people. It's so
Sounds like fun.
it's lovely. It's my favorite.
I'm still watching my British murder mysteries. There's
mean, I like
no
that
one left
too.
in Britain.
New season of
There's no
Midsummer.
They're all dead in the British countryside.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny when
There's
some of our cousins moved from London to Oxfordshire recently. That's what Tom said. I'm like, oh, good. We're gonna go when Jean and I eventually go visit. We're gonna do the Morse tour, do all the pubs.
yes.
Right? So true though. It'll be great.
I feel like it's also a little like hot fuzzy, so you can be all like, for the greater good. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
You should see that movie.
I guess so.
Edgar Wright and yeah, Haley's
I'll
writing
get
it
it
down.
for you.
Thanks.
There's a little bit of like gore in it, but like it is so fantastic.
Oh, cool. All right. Good. Thank you.
One of my
Always need
favorites.
new recommendations. We're digressing as we often do.
Yeah.
But do you have any other finished objects you would like
No,
to show us?
I got nothing else.
I finished at 1:30 in the morning.
I finished at 1:30 in the morning.
Well, you might have
Right on
finished
the
one
fly.
another day. I didn't know.
No.
Okay, we're good. All right. So I also have a finished object. This is my rocket tee.
I love
Also
that.
unblocked.
You
Also,
absolutely love
thank
it.
you. I really
So beautiful.
very happy
That
with
is
it.
spectacular.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I
I'm
love
so
it.
happy with it. Oh yeah. So it is using Kanzashi, which is right up here. Get a few colors.
Ooh, I love this purple.
Yeah.
Ooh, did I see that dark blue with neon speckles before?
I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of love it.
It's really pretty, yeah. And so that is this yarn, or this is this yarn
I know.
with Ella Ray Denim DK. I chose the natural color, but there are a bunch of fun colors of that as well. This would look pretty with one of the darker denim DKs.
Yes,
That'd
it
be kinda cool.
would. And
Or
I'm looking-
with the natural, which
This
we
is a
have a lot of.
great chunk of yardage.
I have like a third of the ball left.
Really?
I do.
Wow.
Yep, and I had to break into the third ball of the denim DK for my edgings. So I bought the Rocket Tee pattern. I knew I wanted to do it in DK. I didn't know there was a Rocket Tee DK version.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, there was. So I bought the pattern in fingering weight, started to, I did all my math to convert it to work for DK, and then somebody said, oh, there's a DK version of that pattern.
She was like, what?
I was like, oh well. So I already had done the math, so I just went ahead with that
I
one.
love that.
But the one thing I would do differently, and if I had bought the DK pattern instead of just using my numbers as I did, I bet the I-cord bind off is different for the DK version because it's a little big to me. This is a
I think
4-stitch
it's
I
I-cord.
like it.
So I
like
did a 3-stitch on the neckline.
But
I thought it would be a little
think
bit
that's
big.
Perfect.
I
I
don't
think
mind
it's
it on
okay.
the sleeve. I think it looks.
It's
a
okay.
nice little like.
Yeah, and
It's a
the
nice
bottom
detail.
too. So anyway, so this needs to be blocked. It'll look better after it's blocked, but I was really happy with the way it turned
It's
out.
the
love
theme
it.
of this show. It'll look better after it's blocked.
Yep.
Likewise with the baby sweater.
But
Must be blocked.
well, the crazy thing is with this, I almost finished this for last episode. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I think it was one of those. I had like 2 more rows left on the body, forgetting how long I-cord bind off takes.
I was about to say.
It's a lot of I-cord bind off.
You
Yeah.
think you're done.
Yeah, yeah.
Spots.
And then
Yeah.
you're like,
So-
oh, I just have the bind off. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, for the
That's
love
like
of-
finishing all the squares of a blanket.
Yeah, exactly.
And then-
Exactly. That's pretty much exactly what it was like.
And forgetting.
So one night I finished the body and I started the I-cord, and that was when I remembered. I'm like, oh yeah, this is not a 20-minute thing. This is not normal bind off, which I knew, but I didn't think about.
Didn't
Didn't sink in.
Didn't click or shit to the back.
Yeah, exactly. So then another night I finished the rest of the body. The next night I did the 2 sleeves, and always and then went on to something else because I don't love it. And then last night I was working on a lot of socks and things, and then because it was Natalie's sock week, it was Natty's sock week, which we participated in.
I got 2 socks done.
You did. I got 1 sock done and then 1 the next week, but so then all of a sudden yesterday I'm like, I've got to finish that sweater so I can wear it for the podcast. So what was I doing last night after I finished my sock? I did my neckline. So yay. I did it in time. Did it in time. So that is the good thing.
I love it so much.
So
I think it looks fantastic.
thank you. I'm really happy with it.
It's so cute.
I think
So
it's
cute.
beautiful, and the amount of color combinations with these 2 yarns alone.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
just-
And literally
I
I
love
did
it.
this in a month. This was like 4 weeks, and also I probably
Orange
did
or pink would actually look
4 socks
Oh,
during
yeah,
that
the
time.
orange.
Because there's orange
Yes,
flecks
exactly.
with
Yeah.
the pink.
Look how
right?
fun that would
oh
be.
my god, that
That
would
would
be
look
so
and the,
cute.
And the purple with the darker purple, I think that could be cool.
a very tonal.
Yep,
This and
really
this.
tonal.
Dig it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
little
Or-
low contrast, but
Yeah.
Or the neutral.
or
Or
go low
even...
contrast on purpose.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. There are so many different blues in the Denim DK.
Yeah, there's some.
Actually, I
It's
think
like going. I mean, the Denim DK,
the gray
the
would be
original
great with this
line
one. I
was
would do
all
this with
blues.
this,
It was
or it's
everything
filled
from
with-
like
yeah.
acid wash,
Yes.
very
Mhm.
light denim, to like the darkest indigo. Which
Yeah.
I
There were like 6 blues or something.
I
Yeah,
love all the range of the denim.
that's
DK.
pretty. The natural and the
Makes
lavender.
me happy.
And
Yeah.
I didn't even grab those
I also
colors.
love the denim DK.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really
It was
pretty.
really nice to work with. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like string when you see it in the ball, but it doesn't feel like you're working string.
Right.
It is yarn. It has a nice
And
feel
it's
to it.
Not quite. Yeah, no, it's 100% cotton, which is,
Yeah.
it's hard to find a cotton that doesn't feel like string.
No, yeah. It's,
No, and I'm not.
nice.
It's
You
really
know,
nicely combed.
It's
I'm-
really nicely done, and
It
it's really
is.
nicely spun, and it's like such a pretty, like, even in this like pale blue, it's got such a pretty tweedy.
Yeah.
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 Lavender.
And that's the Denim DK look, is that little bit of tweedy kind of color going on.
Yeah.
My only other finished object is a sock, so I'm going to
So
throw
we'll-
it down to Haley, who's going to show
First off, Haley, what
her finished object.
So I grabbed this shawl. If you saw me run away really quick, this is Seisha's. What's the pattern?
It's on the tag.
On
It's
the tag.
Here is the
I
tag.
tucked it in.
It is the Homestead shawl, done and knitted with DK in Mighty Oak.
I do
Nice.
love that.
Yeah, it's so
idea.
pretty.
Oh, so pretty.
To
Yeah.
keep me warm. Thank you, Seisha.
That's such a pretty shawl.
Yeah.
I did not make this. Seisha
Yeah.
made this, but I am wearing it.
Yeah.
So my big finished object. Here we go. Here we go. You haven't seen this before.
No, this is how this was. It's funny. It's called the 6-day baby blanket. I think it was like the
6-day
4-day
kid blanket.
4-day baby blanket.
Oh,
Isn't
oh,
that
really?
gorgeous? I love
How
it.
cute is that?
Let's turn. I like it with the granny cluster part up. I don't know why. To me, it makes a difference. So we were watching the Ollie and Bella podcast, and Sherry had an example of this. And when it came on the screen, Haley and I both went,
Made the exact same noise.
seriously.
Oh my goodness.
What a lovely.
Isn't that gorgeous?
It's so pretty, and it's so like classic.
It looks vintagey, but it's still
Yeah.
modern.
Yes.
And
Love it.
so this
I
is
love
sorry, you
this.
should talk. But when I saw it, I'm like, Haley, will you make one for the store?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Haley-
you'll be able to come to Yarnia.
And
You can come and take a look
So
at it.
yeah, this is a sample. This is a store sample for you all.
that she made in like 4
But-
days.
Of course she did.
But I mean,
There we
it is a
go.
quick crochet. Oh,
It
but you
was-
have to talk
yes,
about the why
so-
the
so-
Ysolda crossover.
Yesterday I was working on it. Like I started it and then
So cool.
I worked on it. I did like
You
2
had one day you
stripes
didn't
a
work on it.
day.
Yeah.
And then it was honestly it's like if you count single crochet as a row like pattern to memorize, 3 different rows in it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do any kind of color combination.
I just picked these 6 colors of
I
cotton
love the
soft.
colors.
I
Yeah.
wanted like a soft kind of baby palette.
Well, and also that way you can see the colors of cotton soft.
Yeah.
I love
well,
it so much.
and they used to have such, like, I'd say bold primary colors.
Mm-hmm.
And over the past like year and a half,
Mhm.
they've come out with
Mm-hmm.
softer colors.
Mhm.
We just got them in last spring, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and part of it is like the ones
Love
we,
them.
yeah,
They're so
they had a
pretty.
much more limited palette earlier on,
Mhm.
and they've really expanded it. So I know early on, I think like because I made something in the lavender, and it was like a really intense lavender.
It is an
It was, like,
intense
great.
lavender,
Yeah, yeah.
But this is
But-
such a sophisticated, like, stitch pattern. You could do this in, like, a tonal. You could do, like, the gray and the white. or,
Exactly.
like-
it looks so good.
So it's by
It's
Betty
by
McKnit,
Betty
right?
McKnit,
Yeah.
yes. And thanks to Cherie from Ollie and Bella who are inspiring us.
Yeah.
She had
Yeah.
started a second one. She was like, I can't not make another one.
Well, and we were watching a really old episode too, I
No,
think,
that
right?
was- that
that
was,
was the
like,
recent episode?
the second to most recent.
Okay.
It might have been from a month or 2
We've
ago.
been kind of
but-
skipping around,
Yeah.
so.
Right. Is that the British one who
Yeah.
has the kids
Mm-hmm.
and had some gaps in her podcast?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You hooked me on that. I love it so
Really
much.
Isn't she
I
great?
love
She's the
her
best.
podcast.
She's the best.
Yes.
Yeah, we love her.
Yes.
It's one of my new faves.
Yeah, yeah.
Us too.
Yep.
So yes, this is a Cotton Soft DK in 6 assorted colors.
Yeah, I
So
love it.
you'll create a project on Ravelry,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and then
yeah.
I'll
I'll have
copy it
all
over
the
to the
info.
Yarnia Ravelry.
But you can
But
come see it in the store
I
because
picked
it's
the
a store
colors.
sample.
That's my contribution. We picked them together, kind of. We were here, right?
Well,
or did
yeah.
I bring them home? I forget.
No, you were like, do
Here.
you like these colors?
I
It
love
was
that.
It's just,
really nice.
I love this.
It was
So-
so nice to work with. So,
If you look on Ravelry, though, there are so many variations, and actually, this is a funny thing, and I apologize for interrupting Haley because it's your project. I feel like there's a thing where some designers don't choose great pictures to show off their pattern.
Yeah.
Like, if I'd seen this based on the designer's photos, I never would have said, why don't you make this? We saw Cherie's version, and we're like, we have to make this. So it's so interesting how the color choices that people use really affect it. There are some beautiful versions. One of the, the two color is really nice, like gray and white or something like that. Another one that's really beautiful is like 3 shades of the same color. So like
that's
white,
really pretty.
light blue, and a darker blue, something like that is
Lovely.
just gorgeous. Really
and,
nice.
And the first version that Cherie had was a long gradient. So like,
Yes,
it
and that's
changed
another
colors
thing.
throughout
You
the
could use a
rows,
gradient
but
and let
was
it
like
change on its own.
almost tie-dye
nice.
kind of. It was
Ooh,
really
that's
nice.
really
So,
pretty.
It's a beautiful flexible pattern. So 6-day kid blanket.
6-day kid blanket, Betty McKnit,
Mm-hmm.
down below.
Nice.
Beautiful.
But
Really
be really
beautiful.
careful about selecting your colors. You will be happier.
Yeah.
Or just be mindful. You don't have to be really careful.
Okay.
Be
yes.
mindful.
Be mindful. Be mindful.
Yep. And Ravelry's a great place to go to
Yeah.
browse
Yeah.
through.
Mhm.
And see
Instagram
what other
too,
people have
probably?
done.
Yes,
Yeah.
always.
Insta.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see
and
what works.
if you don't
That's
find
my
what
strategy
you,
because I don't have
Yeah.
the color brain that Kathleen does.
I love color. It's my
Yeah.
thing.
I
Like,
have
if
to
you don't-
piggyback on the
that is
good
a
ideas of
good
others.
suggestion because if Ravelry doesn't have what you're looking for or you're not a user, oftentimes if a pattern's been made enough, people will hashtag it.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
have always
yeah.
hashtag
So
In
like
Instagram,
check the
yeah.
hashtag on
Mhm.
Instagram, like
Yeah,
if there
absolutely.
is one, because
Mhm.
even if there's only 10 pictures, it could be 10 different
10
color
different takes on it.
inspirations.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I
So-
would recommend that. So,
we have, I think,
nobody
15.
tell my story.
Okay, tell your story. Go. I just was trying to give us a little time check.
I know, okay. So, yesterday I opened YouTube. I didn't have much to do yesterday. I was like, today's going to be a crochet day. And I was like halfway done. I had only done one peat of the colors.
The 2 repeats.
And so I opened YouTube. And the first recommended video was it's like a walkthrough of Skyward Sword.
Oh,
And I was like, I know what I'm doing today. Ferb, I know what we're doing today.
Was it
So-
Zelda Master?
It was
and Ferb
Gab
is Jean.
Smolders.
You call Jean Ferb now?
No, it's a reference to Phineas.
It's Phineas and Ferb.
Okay.
That's what they
but,
say
But
in the MMV
you could call him Ferb.
Well, yeah, because he watched Phineas and Ferb. That's all he could watch in the hospital. They didn't have anything else.
Oh, bless. I mean, it's a good show.
It is
If you
quite
have to be stuck with
entertaining.
only Phineas and Ferb, you're gonna be okay. So, yeah, I watched all 4 episodes that she has so far of
And that's how
the
you
Skyward
finished.
Sword walkthrough,
Yep.
and
So
I
now you're
did
ready
the
to
other
play.
half of the blanket.
I'm a big Zelda Master
So.
fan. On YouTube, if you want any Zelda
Yeah.
show or any
Recommendations.
Zelda game, there's like a walkthrough of it.
Yeah, that's the only game I've actually done. Jean has done like 3 or 4 of Zelda, but like Skyward Sword is like my comfort because I did it when I was like 10, and like it's so different. I've heard from other Zelda games that like they're weird to me, but to everyone else, Skyward Sword was weird to them.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So-
Oh, the flying on the birds, I'm terrible on it.
Yeah,
Terrible.
That's what
I can't
she
even watch
said
it when
too.
other people are doing it.
Also,
Like, it makes me nauseous.
When school starts again, if you like the Zelda walkthrough or game walkthrough things, Beth, my oldest, has a Twitch stream and she does
Oh,
like
yeah.
Oh,
gameplays of like these kind of old DS
The link
games.
will
Make
be
sure you link
Yeah.
it.
I will link it below.
Yeah.
Right now she's not doing anything because she's at home, and
Mhm.
if she Twitch streamed now, we'd have chaos in the background. Like the sound was just.
Yeah.
She tried a few times and it was just like, ah. But-
When she's in a dorm, it'll be a lot
Right,
easier. Right?
yeah.
Nice quiet
Yes.
space.
So
So, what else? Any other finished objects? You want to transition us
I
to
got
socks?
socks.
I think
Let's
we're
transition
into
us
socks.
to sock time.
Yay!
Alright, so we're ready to talk about socks?
We're talking
yes,
about socks, yes.
Sock section.
So-
sock time. What do we
So
call
actually,
it?
can I give a quick
socks.
sock bingo update?
Sock bingo, yeah.
Sock bingo update.
So, sock bingo update. we have had, I would say, at least 7 people complete their bingos.
Yay! Great job!
This is my board. I have not yet completed a bingo.
It's harder than you think.
Well, because you know what? Like, if I ever used 9-inch circulars, I would have a bingo already. What I'm going to do is color work. When I have to do color work, I have a few different ways. DK or heavier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You're
not
gonna do that.
DK or heavier tube sock, and you'd be golden.
Yeah, but she's not going to do DP.
I'm never doing the DPNs. I'm never doing the 9-inch circulars. So I'm not going to finish my board. Yeah. Or color work. I know I have a color work one I want to do too.
Then you
I've got
tube sock color work.
I can definitely do 2 of those.
Yeah, so we have our sock bingo. Sorry, Jen. I'm
No
problem. Well, you can't see it very well.
You can't see it very well.
I'll put a visual on it.
Yeah.
We have our sock bingo cards. It's a free download on our website. I'll link it below. You put it in your cart. It's a $0 item. You put it in your cart. The system knows, like, hey, I don't need to charge you shipping or tax or anything. But you go through the regular checkout process just like you would from the store.
And you please put in your address, because then we can send you your prize.
Yes. Yep.
Can you hand me
and then you can download it. And if you're logged in as a user on shopyarnia.com, because we have a little account, then you have access to that download in the future. And, you know, that's the same if you have it. When we get to writing our patterns down, we'll have those on shopyarnia.com as well, and it'll be the consolidated place to find all your patterns from Yarnia.
All of your downloads of any kind. So the thing that I'm sending to people right now is our progress keeper. Do you want to go bring one up by
Yes.
the thing? So I did send out a couple. I'm gonna check in with the Rattler group at least 3 times a week. That's kind of my goal. I can't commit to doing it every day, but
oh my god, I love
several times a week.
Back up a little.
I'll
Does it focus?
Oh
my god. Might be too short. Yeah. Good.
Combine with, and we've got a picture of these
so
we can
good.
throw in too.
So cute.
They're cute. They're cute. And actually, not only, so congratulations to all who are, who've already completed their bingos, which is
I want to finish a bingo. So
getting a bingo on the board, as well as completing 5 socks, and posting it either on Ravelry or Instagram. But we've got several people who have already filled out the whole board.
What? Amazing!
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are killing it.
I have a strategy, but I do not have the socks done yet.
Yeah, and I know I'm never going to do it, because I am never making a sock on 9-inch. It's just like, it's not happening.
Would you deign to make them on DPNs?
I
Like
could
a
do
kid's
it, but
sock?
it just wouldn't be fun.
No.
It just is not.
No.
I'm better than I used to be. I really am. But it's so funny. We could do it as a comedy video. Me working like a sock on DPNs, because I'm like, I'm so used to magic.
Stab your eye. You need safety goggles.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's so funny because my sister Irene, who Jen worked with for years, like, she is a DPN girl for socks.
She's 100%.
We look pretty similar, and she says maybe I could have her make my DPNs. I pretend it was me. I don't know. We're not going there. She came my ghost knitter. My ghost knitter.
I mean, here's the thing: we're not necessarily eligible.
Oh no, we're totally not eligible. Though I will
say, that doesn't mean we don't want to still do it. Right?
That's right. Yeah. So anyway, we have to.
But we totally are eligible for getting a.
Oh yeah. And
we're getting the marker first,
but we have to earn them.
Yes.
I'm not cheating.
Jen's like,
do I have to earn them?
No.
For me, I want to earn them.
Me too. That's how I feel.
All right.
I
I've been using mine already. I figured I designed the thing. I should be able to get one, right?
It's a personal.
But anyway,
this way we can show you.
Yeah,
in motion.
I had a picture somewhere where it was on my sock.
It's super cute.
Well,
it's
I
on
was
our
using
Instagram.
it as my progress keeper. Yeah.
So on our Insta.
So anyway, we need to get going on what is going to be our giveaway. We have some ideas about what we're going to do for people who complete the whole board.
Totally.
And also, the other thing we have to work on is the second board, because everyone who's finished the board wants to do another board. So I've got some notes of things to add to the second board. And if we do this again next year, which we probably will, one of the things on the first board is going to be my first sock.
Yes.
Because it feels silly to put that on the second board. Since if you're doing the second board,
I still think that we should do it as a little bonus square. Because if you made socks before, and then you'll never be, and it's one of the squares on the bingo, then you'll never be able to complete the full bingo board. But if you have it as a bonus square,
that's true.
Maybe there could be like a little bonus something or other for
Okay,
it.
all right, that's a good point.
So we got these in from Trinkles, and we got other things.
We got a lot of things from Trinkles.
Sock things and otherwise.
Yes. So first for the sock things.
It has the hashtag on the back.
It does. So you can't forget. So one of our sock things is the sock ruler. And this is the adult
and it has Yarnia on the back too.
We put Yarnia on the back.
I independently ordered one.
Gorgeous.
And mine does not say Yarnia on the back. That's awesome.
Do you wanna bring? So we've got all sorts of stitch markers. We have got. We've got the Yarn Love stitch marker. We've got increases and decreases. Do you want to bring some of those up there? And this one,
and
the
it's really
sock
nice.
instructions.
It actually gives you like the instructions here on how long to knit your sock, which
Yes.
is super helpful.
Yeah, exactly. It's right on there.
I love
and let me give you one of these too. So we got some things from the cat collection, the acrylic cat collection. Yeah, take that.
I love the cat collection.
Me too.
Oh,
I love the acrylic.
These.
Oh, I
the
love
neon
those.
kitties.
They're so fun.
So here we
Neon
are.
kitties.
I can see these going home with you. So yeah, so we have many new things in from Katrinkles.
I mean,
There's
I love
the
her
bracelet.
acrylic. I'm wearing my acrylic bracelet today.
Yay! So these are really fun. Helen, you want to show this one real quick?
I do.
It's the row
Here,
counter
you can throw
bracelet.
these in here if you want. Throw the ones you've shown.
So the row counter bracelet is a bracelet that you wear, and then you just move your little progress keeper. Row by row,
Here's
or
the
you
list
can
of what
put your
needs to be
needle. You
created.
can hang it on your needles.
I figured
and you could
it was
move your
easier.
needle and move it on your needles and use it as
So
like
cute.
a marker.
And you
Which
know,
is
one of my
so
favorite
handy.
new things is the sheep bobbins.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we were
Which-
going to show the sheep in
so
motion. I was waiting for these
Sorry.
I personally I wanted them for my projects so badly.
And we got a bunch of new mini tools. I mean, we don't have time to show you everything, but take a look.
I love these.
Either
This
in
is
store or on our
for-
website at our Katrinkle selection.
It says,
we
"Don't blow it."
we went a little wild, as we sometimes do when we order from them, because everything is so fun.
These are
everything.
for
I really love the
future.
stitch marker set where it's beginning of round, slip, slip, knit, knit
Yep.
two together,
Yep.
slip, slip, knit, knit two together. So you can never forget
Where
what
you
you're
are.
doing and where you are.
And
This
then
is so cute.
look
Future
at
hat
this
sock.
cake.
Oh, future mittens. Love these little
So
sets. And I also
beautiful.
love Katrinkle's packaging,
Yes.
which they,
She's on with the totally
they
recyclable.
tweaked.
I
Yeah.
want those in acrylic.
These stitch markers say front, back, sleeve, beginning of round, sleeve, right side. So for like when you're working a sweater.
They would have been really helpful with this, actually, because when you're working on it, it all looks the same. So yeah, I totally can see those.
I love the numbers.
And the numbers.
The counting, yeah. If you're doing
So
something
you
really
know-
long, so you want to just throw them on there, keep track. So
Or
don't have
you
to
know
recount.
your sockies when if you're doing it row by row, the way the Nitty
Oh,
Natty does,
Mhm.
you can just be like, 25,
Yeah.
50.
Oh yeah.
So you
Curious
count
handmade.
once instead of.
Yeah, Helen
Count
Stewart
once
sock
instead of 50
has every
times.
row. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good.
All
Or
right.
instead, like, if you don't be too proud to use your progress keepers, like
Proud.
They're there
That's
to
my
help.
jewelry, bro.
I
Yeah,
don't,
exactly.
But I don't.
Exactly.
I'm always like, I don't need a progress keeper, and then I was like,
I
I should
love
proudly
progress
Dude,
put
keepers.
I
in there.
totally love it. I don't know if I did take a picture of yesterday, but before I finished this sock, I had my row counter because it's a lace pattern. I had my
yes,
progress
on this.
keeper to
Look at
show
how
me.
magic
Yeah,
on this.
yeah. I had my progress keeper to show me what I had done that day. I do it. I do it like for every day because sometimes you're working away. You look, you're like, wow, I did 4 inches today. You know, it's like it makes you feel so good.
I got nothing
Totally.
on mine. I don't even have a stitch marker.
You would be more motivated to add length if you had a progress keeper.
Yeah.
Well, this pattern has eyelets,
It has,
so
like,
I just count
built-in,
the eyelets.
yeah.
But
I
then
know.
I was
Well,
like, but I
things
should.
on this.
But
Yeah.
I feel like I should probably like get my acting gear and use the progress keepers.
Here's the little.
All right, so shall we talk
Oh,
about
when you're in.
finished?
It's an
There's
end-minder.
Yeah, it's so cute.
I was waiting. I think I asked you like every day. When's the Katrinkles coming? I want my
They're
sheep.
so cute.
So
I have
explain what
one.
an end binder is.
So basically.
You want to bring it up there and show?
Okay. So,
Yeah.
basically,
Instead of doing, this is the finished one. Yeah, instead of having this dangly on the end of your
end,
cast off, if you're doing like long tail or something.
you get an end minder like this, like
And then
so.
your sheep has a sweater.
It's a little animal.
Your sheep does have a sweater.
Focus.
Oh my
That's the fun
god!
part. That's the
And
fun
so you just wrap it in. So basically, your tail is a little sheep, and he does wear a sweater,
He
which is
wears
my
a
favorite
little
part.
sweater.
There he is.
You know, Haley, I
Look
have
at
a
it.
suggestion. Do you want to stay up there and show all of our done socks? Is that a good idea if we
Sure.
just hand them to Haley? Or should you want to just
Well,
do
Helen
pictures?
needs to talk about that sock that she's holding.
Yeah, I didn't talk about my socks.
But it's a whip sock. Should we
What's
talk
with
about
that?
finished objects?
This is a half.
Let's just go
finished
down
Let's
object.
just go.
We're going to run out of time.
Yeah, we are going to run out of time.
This is a half finished object.
Maybe
Sorry.
I will actually record a little bit at home.
That's what you should do.
And
That's
I
perfect.
will
Yeah.
add
Without-
it to the end of this podcast.
Yes.
So it'll be
That's a really good
a
idea.
little
It's a good idea.
post view.
Because we realize next
Yeah.
filming day we're scheduled for is Haley's move-in day.
For
And then
real?
we'll- For real.
Oh my god, that's
No, you're
No.
sorry.
Don't rush me.
Sorry, you're at the next one. You're at the beach. 2 is your move-in day. I'm sorry.
Don't do
I'm
that.
sorry.
You just skipped a whole month.
I look ahead. I look ahead on the calendar.
I'm
Excuse
excited,
me.
but don't do that.
But yeah, it's not 2 weeks. It's 4 weeks. You're right. So anyway, that one we'll definitely do a little vlog. That'll be fun, and
Yes.
we'll record on
We'll
our
do a
own for
vlog.
that one.
Yeah, we'll do
but
All right.
anyway,
solution
finished
found.
socks.
So
Finished
finished pair. These were my sock week socks.
Yes.
I did them.
Yay! I love them.
I love them.
Because like I love working with the cotton, but this is like my 4th or 5th pair with it in a row, so I was kind of like, ooh.
But they were for me,
But
so I'm really happy. So I'm
They're
going to wear
different.
them.
But somehow,
We may have to redo the job. She just wanted to be done. She was like, "That's long enough, right?"
What happens? That's like the weakest sock.
It's not going to fit my size 8
No.
foot.
No.
It's a BB foot. I don't know what
I mean, it stretches.
I
but not
can-
that
exactly. It
I-
does stretch.
I can try
tried
to-
it on. I don't know how this happened because I measured it against this. I measured it on your foot, and somehow
But
And
I
you're still
think I think we may need to extend this one. I
it's
think
like
it's
25 rows.
not happening.
That
Anyway,
ain't a thing.
yeah, it was. She got 2 socks done during sock week, but
Are both of
But
them
this
25
one
rows
won't be.
short?
no,
No.
one is 25, one is probably like 35. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're like,
the first one.
And I
will fit,
usually
it
do,
stretches
like-
a little, but
Yeah, it is. It's pretty stretchy.
I also make my
Yeah.
gusset a lot longer, but
Yeah, I don't know. So they're really cute. This is the Regia Cotton Tutti Frutti. This is the orange colorway.
I
Yay.
love those colors.
Look how cute. I should totally wear it with this sweater too.
you
yeah.
totally
Love it, love it.
should.
and so
So
this is my half finished object. It's birthday present for Marmar, which is
Oh, that is super cute.
Will's brother's girlfriend, and also my friend.
Oh.
That's the relation.
yes,
I love that color.
that's so fun.
What is that?
This is Mamma Mia,
Oh,
Bob.
yes.
Yeah,
and it's perfect because we've been wanting to watch both Mamma Mias in a row together. So
yeah.
Oh,
maybe
that
when
is
I
a
give these to her, we
Beautiful
will.
color.
I
it's
am
really
obsessed,
pretty.
and she loves tie dye. And when I was working on the pink Mrs. Crosby one, she was like, "I love that tie dye." I was like, "That's so interesting because like we see it as like variegated,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
knitters,
But someone who
but like
doesn't
a non-knitter
look
is
at
like
yarn.
that's tie dye." So
Yeah.
Wow.
this is
It's totally
perfect for
true.
her.
Cool.
Yay.
Very
so
nice.
if you like vanilla socks, which is what both of those are,
Yes,
Yes.
they are.
Right?
They are.
we're starting a vanilla
Ah.
sock knit-along
Yes.
on Monday,
Mhm.
August 2nd.
Join.
Yeah, it's on
Do
our
join.
events
It's
page.
free.
at Yarnia. It's free.
And I think we've got 20 people signed up already.
Yeah,
We've got
so
quite a few signups, which is great.
and I send out. So I'm hosting that knit along. I send out a email every week. I sent out the week 0 already, but
It was
if
a great
anybody's-
email. She'll resend it if you need it.
If anybody signs up afterwards, obviously.
I
I'll
think
send
we
it
had
to you.
3 new signups since you sent it out. So
Perfect. So those will
Aw.
probably go out like Friday, Saturday-ish. I'll send it out again to anybody who signs. Well, maybe I'll wait till Sunday if you guys sign up.
Mhm.
But in the event, we have a Zoom and in person.
Most
Kickoff.
people are going to be Zoom, which
Yeah.
is it'll be nice though to do it here, and we may get more at the last minute in person too.
Yep. So I'll have my Zoom set up. You'll be in my ear, the Zoom folks, but we'll also be in person. I'll have the Zoom overhead, and which is, I realized is great because some people are like, oh, this is great, I can come to 2, but I can't come to the 3rd.
Exactly. So
even
perfect.
in person. It's recorded, so if you're like, I really need to see that toe, but I'm at the beach on August 30th, no problem.
Exactly.
Because you can just rewatch the Zoom video.
Yeah.
So it'll
And
be
I
like
definitely
mini
will be
tutorials.
here for the first one. Like, that's the one I can commit to. I don't know if I'll be here for the second one, which I know is your birthday. I hope I can be here for that one.
That's okay.
But
I'm turning
for
a heel.
sure, I'll be here
It's not
on
a
the
birthday
first
that
one.
ends in a 0 or a 5. We're good.
So, but
Yeah, so
that's going to be fun.
It'll be super fun. And I am knitting a vanilla sock as well, which I rarely do.
What's yours?
I am using one of the Arnie and Carlos Regia colors. So, do I have?
I
I was like,
Lipton
what's
collection.
poking me in here? I have my VPNs already
Ah.
stuffed inside. I use Addy flip sticks, so they're ready to go on Monday. I have not cast on though. I'm going to cast on during our Zoom.
And what I'm going to do is I have one plain vanilla sock here that's will be done by Monday, and I'll cast on the second one on next Monday. And I also stick something in my yarn ball. When I pick up my gusset stitches, I actually use a stitch fixer.
Oh,
That's
what a
what
good
I do
idea.
because I don't know, I don't like to pick up with the tip of the needle, so I just like leave that in here, and then it's available. And also, if I do drop stitches, it's right there.
Perfect.
Handy dandy.
So we are doing that vanilla sock knit along starting August 2nd. Sign up. There's
Sign up
also
on
a
the website.
Ravelry group, but if you're welcome to follow us on the Ravelry group as well and join in, even if you're not signed up. But then you don't get the emails, and it's free.
And
Right.
if for whatever reason, if you're watching this after it started, you can still sign up if it's going on.
For sure.
And we'll
Plenty
just
of
play
time.
a little bit of catch up.
Yep.
No worries.
Because is the whole knit along to knit one sock or
Well,
a pair?
I'm going to knit a pair. I mean,
But
you
it's
can-
to work through the process of knitting a
The
sock.
first meetup we'll do the cast on, and
And we're
like,
doing top down.
top down. I'm following Helen Stewart's Simply Curious sock pattern, which I think is like a great recipe. And the pattern calls for a knit one, purl one rib. I'm doing a knit to the back loop, twisted
Twisted rib is
rib,
so pretty.
because
Yeah.
that is a square on the board. Hold on, checky.
And it just
Amanda's got a
I
plan.
do have an extensive plan
Twisted
for
rib.
this sock board.
I just feel like
we
the
all have a twisted rib right here.
twisted rib it's like stretchier or something.
Yeah.
It gives you a
No,
little
it
bit
pulls
of.
in more.
it pulls
it
in.
has more definition. I love it. I'm
I just love
obsessed
how it
by
looks.
one twisted rib.
Yeah.
It is
And
all I ever want to
actually-
do anymore.
I love how it looks. Obviously, I'm wearing a sweater that has it, but on my sock I did 2x2.
I have 2x2 as well on my socks.
It's just
What's your sock?
So this is
Yours
part of
has
my
twisted rib.
and actually that was part of the pattern on this
Yes,
one.
it is. It's frequently
So-
part of a Helen Stewart pattern.
This is Helen Stewart's Scribbly Gum Socks.
Yeah.
they're really cute.
So I finished the first one during sock week, and it was funny because we did the cast on during Natalie's cast on thing.
Her cast on party at midnight.
Yeah.
And I was going along really well, and then I started doing some other things that week, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I've got 3 hours to finish, and I did. I finished the first one just under the wire and posted.
Woo!
And then basically I knit the other one in the next week. So
Let me see. Can I see one?
sure.
I have not gotten to this pattern. This is part of the Helen Stewart Handmade Sock Society 4 that's going on this year. It's a series of 6, it's a set of 6 socks.
And this is the one I was waiting for. Her kind
Yes.
of traditional lace up the front of the leg,
Really
nice
love this.
kind of open work pattern. So I was really, not that I wasn't disappointed, but I would say I was kind of with every one that came out. There you go. I had
Like, this is
high
the one I want to
anticipation.
do.
So when the July sock came out, I was like, yes,
I'm
this is
definitely, that is
yeah,
beautiful.
it's so pretty.
What
I
yarn
do
is
want
that?
to do another. I want to. We'll talk about which other ones you really like
Yes.
the most that are like this from the previous ones. This is Tosh Sock in
Love it.
the glazed pecan colorway.
Always pecan.
It's
I think we talked about last time. I have 2 turtlenecks that are exactly the same
Yes.
color as this, so I'm going to have plenty of things that match with it in the fall.
Come fall, you'll come into the store and you'll see
Every day
Kathleen
I'll be
in
wearing
her
handmade
glazed
socks.
pecan.
Well, because I've made 9 pairs of socks this year.
Dang! Remember
That's
when
a
you
lot.
didn't make socks at all?
I know. Well, the weird thing was, like, my first couple of years back to knitting, that was one of the only things I did.
Yeah.
I made like 10 pairs of socks in the first. I took a long break from knitting because I was having problems with my hands, which I now attribute to the fact that I was using metal needles, like those old style aluminum needles.
Yeah.
And I think I just ripped them really tight. Straights, exactly.
Oh,
and once
Straights
it
will
was,
screw you up.
it was right after college was when I was really into it, and then I did it for a few years, and then I stopped. But then my sister Irina got me back into it when Haley was about 5.
I remember.
And gave me socks to knit at Thanksgiving. And so I did say 10 pairs in those first 2 years, and then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm doing sweaters. So, but now I'm doing both.
I
now
thought
I'm
of
doing
you
both.
as a shawl knitter.
I thought of you as a shawl knitter for a long time.
Yeah, that I do like. I
went
wear
through
a lot
big
of
shawl
shawls.
phase. I think all of us did.
I think we all did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2017, 2016,
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing.
Now we're sweater knitters.
We all
Yeah,
go through
it's
phases.
Yeah.
We all go through
And now we're
phases.
sock knitters again.
Do you have any other socks?
I was just going to say, this is my finished
Yeah.
object
Yeah.
from the
Your Helen
same.
Stewart.
It's from the Helen Stewart, same 4th Handmade Sock Society. These are the picnic blanket socks. And I finally finished them. They look
Yay.
great. So yeah,
So pretty.
this one doesn't have the, I'd say, iconic Helen Stewart lace pattern. It has more of a, which needs a solid color or very
Tonal.
tonal without much variation in it,
Yeah.
right? So that you can really see that lace. This one has texture up here. It looks like an 80s slouchy sock. Or seersucker, but I think of it as 80s slouchy sock. And then a plain foot. So I thought it was perfect for
use for that
a
yarn.
fun yarn. And this is spun right round crystal ball, which has all sorts of, a lot of aqua, but also neon pops all the way through it.
I love that colorway.
Yeah, it's so fun.
I know I say that every week,
love
but
this.
I love
I
that
think of
colorway.
this as
Yes.
the inverse almost.
Yeah, it is.
Dark version, light version.
Because this
Yeah.
is a pale background and that's a bluish
And I love
background.
this is also spun right around. This
Oh,
is the
yeah.
Papa Wheelie colorway.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
So pretty.
So is that's a vanilla sock too?
This is a vanilla sock, yep.
Nice.
And one thing I do, I think I was following the Helen Stewart approach, or just because I never did do her plain vanilla sock, but since I was doing the patterns, it tells you, to move your stitch marker to the middle of the bottom of your foot for your round. So I've been doing that, and I am a big lover of these row counters. Actually, I don't know if you want to throw a link. I don't know if we have these on the website.
We do.
May not. Okay. Maybe when you resend your thing, I would include this also. This is my favorite sock row counter, honestly.
yeah?
Because I just leave it right on there. And here is my trick, because I am all about the tricks. On the even number rows, I knit around. On the odd number rows, I decrease.
Oh,
So even
so
is
you
even.
remember.
See, all of the, it's like, I need those things, though, because I will not remember
You need the
otherwise.
mental. Sometimes you just need the mental reminders of
Yeah.
like even.
Even
knit
is even. Even is even. And I
do
also
something
have
different.
many pieces of jewelry on my sock. This is the Crazy Sock Ladies approach with like every 10 rows. And then actually the thing that, you throw in a stitch marker. And I heard recently on something, I didn't even remember or realize this, but what she does when she knits her second sock, or maybe this is Natalie, is move them over.
I think Kay
Oh,
does that
really?
too, but I did that without even knowing she does that too, where once I get to 10 on this, I move it over so I know that they match.
Exactly, which I think is a great idea. You
That
don't
is
even
a great
need to
idea.
have to do a second set the same. If you get to that point, then you transfer it. Then you know when you transferred your last one, you're at the point where you're going to start your heel.
That's
Interesting.
a really
I
great
thought that
idea.
was a great idea.
I do something similar with sleeves.
Yep.
Where it's like I count out the number of decreases that I need to do, and I have that many stitch markers, and then I throw the stitch marker in or the progress keeper in, and so when I'm out, then I know I'm done.
Yep, that's, exactly.
See,
I've
I
done
have-
that too. Yeah.
I took off the stitch markers on these sleeves this morning, but I always leave mine in on both sleeves. I'm sure you've seen this. If you've watched this podcast back when I was doing sweaters, like other sweaters, any other sweater, the stitch markers are always on it.
Yeah.
Look, last summer, Dem Yucca Lopa,
Yeah.
stitch markers all down the sleeves.
Yeah.
But I do that so I can fold the sweater in half and all the stitch
Be
markers match
confident
up.
they match.
And I
Yeah.
can
Match.
count and make sure that pair, and all my decreases match down the sleeves.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, stitch markers, those opening stitch markers are your friend.
Love
They
it as the
are.
light bulb type. Yep.
I only have one sock. I have one sock. I don't have sock blockers because I'm super lazy.
Here.
Now I'm just gonna throw it on my hand. So I did these. These are Flegel heel And this is
love
an
that pattern.
eyelet
Oh, it's
pattern,
pretty.
and I can't remember what it is.
the
It's like
yarn.
soda water, I think.
Yes. Soda
Yeah.
I want to say by Yoshi, but I don't know if that's the right name. And I adapted it for a Fleegle heel. And I am working on my second one. I kind of put it aside so I could actually like finish something at
good.
some point.
It's always a good thing.
And the other thing that I'm going to do is I just took 2 colors of West Yorkshire Spinners, which is the same yarn that I'm doing this in. This is Peony in the Florist thing, which is kind of like a space dye. I took 2 of the solid colors because what I'm going to do is like a little study on heels. I have a document Stacia's been helping me with where all different kinds of heels, including toe up, afterthought, top down, and I'm going to knit little swatches of those heels in 2 colors so you can look and see what it looks like, whether it's top down, toe up, what fits well, what doesn't.
It's going to be so cool.
For your foot.
I love it.
So
Nice.
this is going to be an ongoing
And I told her
situation.
she's going to blog about it, so it will be on our blog on
I
our
am gonna
website.
blog.
Yeah.
I will blog about it. So I'm going to work my way through that document.
And that's the West Yorkshire Spinner's signature 4-ply,
Signature
Yes.
4-ply.
which I'm sure is already on our website, probably, right?
It is on our website.
Yay.
It's also on my needles.
So nice. Yes,
All
let's see.
right.
Your,
Oh, yeah,
yes,
let's
the
see.
same
Let's
colors.
see.
It's the same
Oh,
color.
Perfect.
So what are you making, Amanda?
So this is my not vanilla sock. My next sock that I'm working on. It's only this. Oops! I need a sheep.
yeah.
You
my
do
God.
need a sheep.
I know, this one's too
Um,
short for a sheep.
Sheep and a half. Yeah,
This
no,
is
I
the
make mine long.
Kamilla Socks by Jenny Penny, which are
So
colorwork
pretty.
socks.
Fun.
Also, let's look at the bingo board.
Yeah.
Because Amanda has a plan.
This is a,
Oh, it's got a picot edge.
it has a picot edge. It also has 8 rows of lace.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
At
yeah,
the top
this-
of the sock, there's 8 rows of lace here.
Mhm.
It's colorwork,
Yes.
fingering weight,
Mm-hmm.
solid colors.
Yes, it checks off so many boxes.
I'm using 9-inch circulars, which I usually don't use, but in colorwork, having the 9-inch circular stretches out your circumference so that I'm sure I'm not going to like
Your floats aren't
be
going to be
too
too
tight because I
That's
do
perfect.
tend to knit my socks densely,
Mhm.
right? Like I pull on my
Yeah.
yarn more on socks than I do, say, on a
Mhm.
sweater or something. So to make sure that I keep my tension nice, because like on a 9-inch circular, you have to move your yarn around
Yeah.
to get it to the other side so you can knit more stitches.
Mm-hmm.
So this makes sure that I'm stretching out my floats in the back, and I'm not going to
That's
have a
so
sock
smart.
that's like too tight to get on.
Yeah,
I
you'll be
can-
able
I
to
can
get it
s-
on.
I can see that too. It just seems like if I were to ever use 9-inch circulars on a sock, that's when I would do it because it just makes it so much easier. Even with Magic Loop and doing color work, you always
Yes.
wind up with those.
For the Arctic Frost ones, you'll have to
maybe
use
I'll
9-inch.
use them for just the color work part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this whole
You can
sock is
totally
color
do
work, and the way that it works, because you're doing color work, the way she designed it, is you knit the whole sock of color work, right? Add the toe, and then cut in the heel.
After
So there's an afterthought heel.
Wow,
Extra
yet another one.
small.
I will share my document with the thorough ideas of afterthought heels and
Yes.
adjusting the fit to better suit a higher instep or to make it if short row heels don't fit your foot well.
Whoops.
There is
This
a
is the
video-
UPS truck.
It's the UPS guy.
The
With
UPS guy
really loud
is like
music.
rocking out.
Yeah, rocking out today.
Which I don't know if
I
you can
respect
hear, but
it.
like
Oh, I bet
Oh, I'm
they
sure you
can.
can.
Yeah,
I
and
would-
usually whatever's
I
over
feel
there
like
is
it
louder
picks
than
up
us.
Stuff that we don't hear sometimes when
Yeah.
we watch them.
Oh, yeah,
It's
and
like,
you're
I
like,
didn't like we weren't paying
oh.
attention to the
Well,
cards, but like
there was one episode where a guy was standing out there on the phone
and like
and
having
you could hear
a full
him.
conversation. So
Yeah.
if you heard that and you were like, "What's that?" and we
So-
didn't mention it.
Now this is the soundtrack of Yarnia, because I have to actually head out. So you'll have to listen to Reggaeton while we finish up here.
That's cool.
This is also top down, so I would check off that box too.
Wow.
This pattern, if you want to check off a whole lot of
A lot,
sock bingo,
almost 2 full bingos.
this is
I don't
like
know
a
which
pattern.
And
Yeah,
also,
really.
how cute is it?
It's
I love
beautiful
it.
sock
Mhm.
pattern.
All right.
Hi, so it's just us 3 now because Amanda had to run, but she is going to record a little something about her parents' sweaters.
A feature, shall we
yes.
say?
Feature, and put it in here.
Hi, welcome back, or you've been there. Welcome to me back because I have 2 projects that I didn't have time to share with you during the recording of our podcast earlier this week that I definitely wanted to touch base on because I'm making good progress and we just always run out of time to talk about them during the time slot we have for recording our standard podcast, especially with everybody's socks and what's been going on. So, but I want to share those with you. So I have 2 new sweaters to share with you today. First, and these are both part of my big project for the second half of this year. I'm making sweaters for my parents, my mom and dad, for the holidays as their holiday gift. But actually, like I told Mom, her birthday was in April. And I sort of got the idea around then, and I told her, like, hey Mom, this is your gift for all year, because it's going to be so much time invested that I'm counting it as birthday, Mother's Day, and Christmas. We celebrate Christmas. So, it's same for Dad. Father's Day, birthday, Christmas, all in one sweater. So, that's my plan for 2021. For them, for gifts for Mom and Dad. So I have, since I think I last talked about it, because I presented the idea last spring on the podcast, but then I haven't really given you an update on that. So my parents, thank goodness that they both got vaccinated. Coronavirus cases are lower, of course, so they finally got to come and visit us here in New Jersey. My parents live in Alabama. So they got to visit us in New Jersey in June. And while they were here, I asked them to each bring a sweater with them, even though it's middle of June. Bring a sweater that you like the fit of. And so they're both overachievers, and they both brought 2. So that was great, because when you're fitting a sweater for someone who's not there physically with you that you can try on as you go, because like obviously I can't try on with folks in Alabama as I go. So by measuring a sweater that fits, that gives me an idea of like how big the body of the sweater should be, what the arm circumference should be, what the shoulder circumference should be, and I was able to take those measurements on a sweater that fits them and have those references as well as measure their body. But it gives me an idea as like their preference for ease, right? Because I can measure my dad's chest size, but if he prefers 2 inches of ease or 3 inches of ease, it helps me to have that sweater there as a reference as well. And a lot of times if we're taking measurements for non-knitters or, someone who hasn't thought about the ease that their garments have, it's a good way to sort of figure out their personal preferences, right? Because, before I started thinking about ease, I didn't think about, oh, this garment has 2 inches of ease, or it has 6 inches of ease, which are very different things, or it has negative ease. I just knew that I liked the fit of one garment versus another. And so the people we're knitting for are the same way. So, with that in mind, so I had in my queue, or in my favorites in Ravelry, a little a section, what do you call it? A collection of sweaters that I thought would look good and fit the style of my mom and dad, and they picked 2. They each picked one that they actually really liked. So my mom picked the Ripple Jacket by Hinterm Stein, and this is the progress I've made on the Ripple Jacket. Yay! Let's see. So I'm here. I'll show you. It actually looks pretty good on. This sweater is knit in a contiguous method. So if you remember from when we were discussing the Franca sweater that I knit in February and March as a knit-along with Cocoa Knits, the contiguous method is a way of knitting a top-down sweater with a sleeve cap construction where you don't have to like knit the sleeves separately and seam them. But you still get a very body fitting. That doesn't mean like bodycon, form fitting, negative ease. It just means a garment that's really shaped to a human body. So that's the way this sweater is constructed. It has this really cute little collar and notched lapel. I'll put a picture of it here. So it ends up looking almost like a little blazer. It's super cute, right? It's got a tailored construction all the way down. And this great little I-cord edging all the way through. So all the parts have this like little I-cord binding, which gives it a nice and polished look. It's in a combination of both garter and stockinette. So when you swatch both the stockinette and the garter, and make sure your gauge match in those two for the yarn that you're contemplating using, because that's really important, that your garter rows and your stockinette rows line up. So I've worked through, obviously, the collar, the shoulders, the beginning of the back, and the beginning of the increases for the arms. And I've got maybe 8 or 9 rows before my sleeve divide, which is quite a bit of progress on this one. I will say, like, the instructions are extremely detailed. There are stitch counts at almost every point that you would want to count your stitches. There is in a contiguous method, like picking up stitches on an edge, like on a, on an edge that was the side of, say, this neckband, and then knitting another direction. That's a key feature of contiguous method knitting. So there's a lot of that, which means that there's a lot of instructions in this very first part where we're doing a lot of shaping around the necks and the shoulders. But it's all like extremely clearly laid out. I've never knit a Hinterstein pattern before, and I'm really delighted with the way this is coming out. I think my mom's gonna love it. It's gonna fit her style really well. The other thing it's going to fit really well is her color palette. So while my parents were here, and in addition to getting their measurements, we also took a little trip to Yarnia, and I let my parents pick out the yarn that they, the yarn and colors that they wanted, which was great. And I was actually really surprised. My mom said she didn't want a wool sweater. That was an important piece of information. So we had picked out the pattern the night before, and and so when we got to the store, she's like, well, actually I'd prefer not to have a wool sweater because they live in Alabama, and wool, especially in like a thicker gauge, can be pretty warm in the middle of winter, and she wants to be able to wear it most of the time. So that was great. So what I ended up doing, because she preferred a cotton sweater, we don't have, this pattern is written for a US 9 or 8, the main, or 7. It's a 7, just kidding. My other one is on a 9. You'll see. We'll get to that. The pattern is written for a 7. And so I did my little gauge swatch in both stockinette and garter, and I used Jen's trick of putting in eyelets to indicate the needle size I'm using for that part of the swatch, and that's how I know I started on a 7, and that's what the pattern is written for, because I started what was recommended for the pattern. And then the gauge is just a little bit looser than the pattern is calling for here. Actually, when I knit this originally, the gauge was exactly right with a 7. And knowing how cotton works sometimes, and your gauge will relax, I went ahead and knitted the swatch on the 6 too, and added some garter in, and then blocked the swatch that way. And as I suspected, once I washed and blocked it, the gauge on the 6 actually worked correctly for the gauge in the sweater. So I went with the 6, and that's working out really well. So when I looked around at Yarnia for a garment that would, or for a yarn that would work, that was cotton, that worked with the gauge, that was what the designer's looking for on a size 7 needle. Most of our cottons are more in the they're in the like DK range, which really works for a 4 to a 6 a little bit better. So I was thinking, and then the colors and the worsted, my mom didn't like them as much. So one strategy, if you can't find exactly the gauge you're looking for and a color you're looking for, you can always mix two yarns. Just sort of like a painter does on a palette, right? Like blend your own colors. That's fine. So what I'm using two different yarns, neither of them wool. Well, yeah, no wool. But first, my mom loves this color. This is totally her color. I'm using the Rowan Cotton Cashmere, right? In this great coral color. It's nice and bright. This is, if you ever did Color Me Beautiful back in the 80s and 90s, my mom is a spring, so she loves these kind of clear, bright colors. Coral, turquoise. What's another good spring color? Anyway, emerald maybe? But I remember coral and turquoise because like her whole wardrobe was coral and turquoise. So she loves this color. But to bring it up to a little bit more bulky, almost worsted gauge, I'm adding this Ella Ray Rustic Silk and a complementary color. This is like a ivory background, you know, or a ecru background. That's the natural color of the silk, with speckled in pinks and like plum colors. So the two of these together make the fabric that I'm using, and that's another important point in swatching. It helps you figure out, especially if you're mixing colors, if this mixing is going to turn out all right. So yeah, that's the color of the jacket here, which I think this is turning out great. It's not that, it's a little bit, you know, more muted than the bright coral, but still like really polished and nice. I think this is turning out great. I'm super happy with the way this looks. This little marling with the rustic silk. And so I am knitting this on a size US 6, almost to the sleeve divide. So I haven't actually worked on this for the past few days because I've been working on other projects, but this is getting a lot of love. I'm getting to the point where I'm almost to the body and it's, you know, a little bit less referring to the pattern all the time because a lot of the shaping is done. So this is going to be very quickly be not TV knitting, but conference call knitting. The other pattern, so then to my dad, the other pattern I was looking at was, my dad really liked Jared Flood's designs, he designs beautiful sweaters for men. Jared Flood is a guy himself, and he is just expert at designing sweaters that are classic and tailored, and look great on any gentleman in your life. So my plan was to make the Oshima for him patterned by Jared Flood. That was great. So I went to the store with Daddy and found, oh, wrong bag. This is my bag. I'm using my Toad Hollow bag today from their trunk show at Yarnia a few years ago. It's my Slytherin snake bag, but it's actually one of my daughter's bags. But I took it because I've run out of project bags. I had too much stuff going on, which is part of the problem in getting in all my projects during our regular podcast time. I need to finish some things. But Daddy really liked the Ella Ray Rustic Erin in this mulberry-ish brick reddy color. This will go really well with, well, one of his criteria is it goes well with both black pants and brown pants and navy pants. So any color pants, brick red will go with it. He doesn't have to worry about matching and meeting Mom's approval on the pants matching with the sweater problem. So that's great. And it ostensibly fit the gauge of the well, it's ostensibly an Erin, which was going to fit the gauge of the sweater. Now, The sweater, the Oshima by Jared Flood, was originally knit in Brooklyn tweed. Well, one of their woolen spun worsted / Erin weight yarns. And this is not a woolen spun yarn, it's a worsted spun yarn, which means it's a little bit less flexible in terms of gauge. His original pattern was knit, the stockinette portion was on a 10.5. So I tried it on a 10.5, and I just felt like that's like way too loose of a gauge, right? So I went down to a 10, still not super happy with it. I actually went all the way down to this one right here, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I went down to a 7, and that's what I'm happy with the gauge. So now I have a sweater that my dad likes, a yarn my dad likes, I found the gauge that works, and the problem is the gauge does not match the sweater pattern I picked out. So back to the drawing board on the sweater pattern. Now I looked at some other Jared Flood designs, and I found the Cobblestone Sweater, which is here. It looks similar in style, right, to the Oshima. Oshima has a really pretty yoke. It's a textured yoke, and it's done in half brioche stitch, which is lovely. I was really looking forward to that. The Cobblestone has a garter section up here, which gives that same texture difference between stockinette at the bottom and on the bottom of the sleeves and the yoke. So you've got this texture difference, which my dad really liked. He wasn't like married to brioche. He's not a knitter. To him, it's just like texture difference. And the Cobblestone was the correct gauge for the yarn that I wanted to use. And the fabric that I ended up liking after washing and blocking my swatch. So that's what I'm going with. I switched my sweater pattern. Now I'm doing the Cobblestone Sweater. And this one is going to be great conference call knitting now. Although I have those teddy bear sweaters are taking priority because those are in a little deadline before the babies get here. So I have just cast on. I'm starting to knit the button band. I've got about an inch of button band done, not button band. This is waist, the bottom. This is a bottom up sweater. So this is the lower band of the sweater. I've got about an inch done. I have about another inch to do of ribbing. And then I just switched the size 7s. It starts on a 6 and then goes to a 7. I switched the 7s and it zoom for however many inches it is from the bottom to the, to the sleeve divide, which is going to be delightful conference call knitting. So that's what I'm working on my sweaters. This project is going great. All the yarn is picked out, all the swatches are done, which is what I've been dying to show you guys. Sweaters are all cast on and progress is being made. And I'll be sure to work them into our regular podcast time in the future and give you more updates. Bye.
I'm done with my whips.
All right. Haley's got a whip that
I have a
actually
whip.
she could have showed last time, but we didn't have it, and it's so cool.
Or I don't think I did. So here we are. It's called Carolina Cardigan by Cosmati. My accent comes out. That's an inside joke with Will and I. Sorry.
Okay.
It's
So
super cute.
here we are. It's definitely cropped compared to the pattern, but I have it like.
Well, you had it when you originally did it.
Now,
It was too long. You didn't like the length, right?
Yeah,
It was too
so
long.
I went down.
So she went in the other direction.
But like, feel
So
how
fun.
nice it is. This is
Does it
the
look like
net.
brioche or
It
fisherman's
does look
rib?
like
It
brioche.
looks like fisherman's
And it's
rib.
crocheted.
Crochet.
I'm loving that sleeve shape.
Isn't
Yeah,
it
it's really nice.
So nice.
It's
Really
It's
nice.
so cute.
I love it. It's slip stitches and then the stitch pattern.
I love it.
So
That
the-
cuff is just beautiful.
Love
Yeah.
it. So
And
it
you're
is
probably going
cropped.
to add a little length to the
And
bottom,
I
possibly.
may, depending on
The
I feel
back
like
is really short.
the
When
back
you
is
block
really
it though,
short.
that's
I
cotton,
know.
right?
Yeah.
It's cotton, so we'll have to see.
And it's heavy.
But partly, we were thinking if you are going to do it, you want to do it before you do the button bands around the front.
Yes,
They
if you're
should
gonna
go the
do
full
it,
length.
Yeah, because
So-
the way that the pattern is, button band is just one. I don't know if it's held double, but it is just one color. I mean, the whole pattern is written for one color, but the way I'm doing it with the moral, the inspiration picture I'm taking from did the darker for the button band, which is what I will be doing as well.
I think that would be really pretty.
So I may do the darker for a bottom button band-esque deal.
Yeah, just bottom ribbing,
like
sort of.
Ribbing, kind of like your sleeve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
or it almost
I'm
doesn't even need
thinking
to
of
be
it being perpendicular because that's
Mm-hmm.
so
Interesting.
one sleeve done.
So pretty, yeah.
So the second sleeve has begun. I was gonna work on it after I finished the blanket last night, but then I did not.
It was
I started
too late.
the second.
It was
sock
late.
stuff.
Yeah, that's true. You did start the second sock.
That's beautiful. I really love that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so nice.
I'm so excited that I'm happy with it now
Yeah.
because I wanted the pattern to be so nice. But yeah, the back is a little short now because it does stretch widthwise, or
So
like
it pulls
I
up,
crocheted it this way, and it's smart that she designed it that way so it doesn't stretch out too much once you're wearing it. But I do kind of need it to stretch a little more because But that's a me thing, not a design thing.
So the other thing you might do then, instead of
just add to the bottom.
well,
Just do another panel.
yeah, do another panel for the back, making it a little bit longer because the front seems okay.
The front seems fine, but you know what you could do, because it's also like you could do faux short rows. You know what I mean?
On
So
the
wait,
top,
hold it up.
back.
So if you did it, because it's worked side to side, so if you started here, right, and then you just added a little bit of length to there, right, so it dips down in the back a little bit, then you get a really nice kind of like oval line, right, where it just swings
it does
down in the back.
of that right now. It's like
it pulls way
Well,
up.
and it's also, this is a rectangle, right? The back is a rectangle.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing.
It's worked this way.
That's the other thing. Like, it's probably also doing that because there's no neck shaping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and because I shortened it so much, it would be fine if it was a regular cardigan size panel, but I shortened it a lot.
Yeah.
But like, you could redo that. I mean, how long would it take you to do that back?
Now it would be shorter because I reduced it by so much. Like, it went a lot quicker.
Yeah, you did that in an hour or something.
No,
I mean,
like a day.
All right, whatever,
but like
couple
that's
hours,
that's the thing. Like, count how many rows, I guess, like you did, right? Find the center point and see how much longer you want to drop it.
Yeah.
And then gradually add so you get a nice like line.
Yeah.
Because that could look really cute.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about adding anything else. I mean, you could still do it.
Yeah, if you want. But
the
there were some.
So nicely.
You showed me some cute ones on Instagram where other people had made it crop but just did it in one color, and I think it could look really cute without the bottom band as well. It would look cute either way.
It would look cute. I guess it's a question of what you want to do.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Especially since you haven't sewed it together yet.
Yeah, you have options.
It's pinned.
You have options. So, do you have any other whips, Miss Betty?
My sock.
Your temperature skirt.
I mean, I do have my temperature skirt, but it's not really started yet,
Yeah.
so we can.
Oh, and I didn't
for
bring
another
my
day.
temperature blanket. You know what? We'll coordinate.
Yeah.
And we'll temperature it up.
Maybe we could even do like a little temperature like shorty kind of.
We could do a temperature
That would be
shorty.
fun.
Because I feel like there's so many things to talk about with the temperature stuff
I know,
that
there's
it like
so many-
overwhelms.
Yeah, that's
like,
a good idea.
There's so many aspects of it, and
Yeah.
like the planning, and then the execution, and like where you
That's
go
a really good
for-
idea. I think that's a good idea.
Why don't
could
we do that?
Temperature shorty.
bonus episode.
Yes.
I am dying to talk about my next sock because I've been allowing myself 2 socks at a time and one other main project. So now I finished this. I finished those socks both yesterday, both last night.
Dang.
Literally. So my next socks are going to be fade socks using our Spun Right Round mini skein set that we got. Excuse the crinkling, please. I don't want to take them out because they're in order and they're so pretty.
They're so pretty in order.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So I have
love
to
that.
decide. Actually, if you all want to comment below, do you think I should have the toe be the brown color, or should the toe be the purple and end with that? Actually, I'm kind of thinking, I'm thinking that this would be good to start with and then have this at the top. Let me know if you agree.
It's kind of reversed. I think of the cuff as the top and the toe as the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm thinking of this for the purple for the cuff and then go down to the brown for the toe.
I like
this. And then we're both making
Yeah,
this.
we're both doing this.
This is going to be our contrast color.
Heels,
I think
toes,
this is
cuffs.
yours.
And you know what? I actually may change this. I feel like it's almost too... Well, it's funny. In this light, you can see the difference. At home, it looked too close to this color.
But this
So,
is my heel.
I love
cuff.
that. That's so perfect.
Heel, whatever it needs to be color.
Yeah. Maybe
I
I'll...
love it.
I think that's the Unmentionables. This
Yes.
is Sly Fox. All spun right round.
We may do Unmentionables together.
We may both do Unmentionables.
I like Unmentionables with that colorway.
I really do. I think it works
I
in
feel
really
like
nicely.
The light gives you a little bit more contrast, but
Yeah.
the speckles really kind of bring it all together.
And the other thing is I got this before I did these, and this is actually pretty similar.
Well,
This is
and
a
I'll tell
little
you,
more
that's
rusty.
why I was thinking, like, I would do the purple at the cuff and that at the toe, because you already have something that's very similar to this color.
Yeah.
And I think that
Well, so I feel like so many of my things are this. That's why I kind of want the purples more visible on the leg. So we'll see.
And I think, so you're going to do it as a fade or a grade, like,
Well,
stripies?
either stripes or fade. I haven't decided. I'm going to actually play with it. And
I was gonna, if you do the fade, I'm gonna use your math because.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Smart.
see. I'll play with it and not cut the yarn and see
Yeah.
whether I know at first I was thinking stripes, then I was thinking fade, and when I say fade,
Me as well.
really all I mean is, so you've got color A, so say I work 6 rounds of color A, and then I work 1 round of color B, back to a round of color A, and then go on to color B. So you just kind of interleave the 2 colors
So
Yeah.
that
a
from
little
a
bit.
distance, it looks nice and
It
smooth.
looks continuous.
It's blendy.
Exactly. So anyway, so that definitely will be in the next episode, and we will see what the decision was. I'll try.
You'll see.
I'll try it, and I'll probably just take some pictures because this is 200 grams, so it's definitely enough for both of us to make socks. But basically, we need to cut each of these minis into 4 segments so that we each have enough for both socks.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a little.
That's why we haven't started it yet because as with the
Well,
temperature stuff, when there's this many colors involved and like planning and.
We were, and we had sock week going, we were doing summer sock camp, all of those. So now, and actually this still could qualify for summer sock camp with the Crazy Sock Lady. Because I'm sure we'll finish them in August.
Well,
but
this is the thing. I mean, this is where, like, your scale is your best friend.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah.
But that requires you to do, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
There's 10.
6, 10. So, like, weighing out 10 and then, like,
It's
taking
gonna
your
be
10 mini
five
skeins to make
grams of each.
5 mini skeins. And then divide each of those 5 mini skeins into, like, that's a little, that's a lot of prep.
Yeah, it is a lot of prep. So that is going to be one of the upcoming projects. It's going to be my upcoming sock project. I think I'm ready to, because I'll have my plain vanilla one in the background, and this will be my more complicated one.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'm so excited about now is I'm going to start my summer ranunculus. Yay!
Yay!
So I'm using Zoe. Seisha has done 2 ranunculuses.
I saw it. You
ranunculus.
haven't seen Seisha's ranunculuses?
On her Instagram.
Insatiable Knits on Instagram. Insatiable.knits.
I think it's just
think it's
Insatiable Knits.
Insatiable Knits.
There may be a dot,
Or maybe an underscore.
but it's in SH.
We will ask Amanda to put it below.
Yes.
We'll link it.
So Seisha, who works here, has done 2 beautiful ranunculuses recently. One, well, she did a class on it, which went really well, and most people use Zoe for that. And there's a sample in the store of the top of the lace portion in Zoe
It's
that you can look at. And then she did one like in a weekend or maybe like 4
like 2
days.
days.
Yeah.
Like no time at all.
With it was a slub yarn and a mohair held together, and she just did it without
so
the lace,
gorgeous.
so it went really fast. It's
I love
beautiful.
that one. It's so
It's
gorgeous.
so pretty.
It's such
So
a pretty
pretty.
color blue too.
And she had already started her her Zoe one, which is in Lagoon, which is like a bluey teal.
Yeah.
I think even before that. And then she finished that and wore that yesterday. So I'm like, okay, I need to do mine now too. So
She's nudging you.
yeah, exactly. Well, it was
I have
funny.
one in the works as well that I haven't done.
In Zoe, or
And it's going to be in Zoe. And
What color did you pick?
Cell green.
the light gray,
The
or
light
medium
gray.
gray, right?
The light gray, I
The
believe.
light gray.
Gray salt.
Or is that one cell green?
I think so. Yeah,
think so.
Yeah. Like almost off white.
No, it's the pale gray.
I know
It's
we
the
have
pale
That
gray.
means
we
that
have-
means
I'm
gray
looking
salt
over there.
French.
we have many colors of Zoe still left. And honestly, Seisha's was two balls of Zoe. She got the entire thing, and it's really a cap sleeve. I have 3 balls because I think I want to make mine a little bit longer, and I'm sure mine is going to be a little bit wider than hers, so I'm sure I'll be fine with 3. But, haha, I pulled out one of my new project bags last night, one of my new key pods, and this is in here, and I'm going to cast on later today.
Yay. I love it.
I'm so excited. So I should definitely, maybe I'll even have another sweater by next episode too.
Oh my god.
Well, she
I could
is
see
my
that.
example. She is my example.
Inspiration.
And she said that it goes quickly. I just realized I forgot a yarn over in this thing.
Oh no.
So I'm going to just do a real quick fakey fake, pick up a yarn over, and make it go.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I'm also planning the ranunculus, and at one point I was like, oh, I'm totally going to do this, and I didn't write down what I was going to do. And then I forgot for like a week what I was going to do with it. And I was like, I was going to do a ranunculus. What was I going to do with it? I don't remember. Uh-oh. So let this be a lesson to you. Write it down.
Write it down, right? And one thing,
if you use Ravelry, use Ravelry.
Yep.
If you use paper, but actually write it down.
Write it down. One of the things I always try to do when I start a project is I just make a note of the date I start, because I often don't create the Ravelry project immediately.
Yeah.
And when I went to close out both of the projects I did last night in Ravelry, guess what? Neither one of them had a start date. And did they have them on my? I mean, the rocket. I had a printed copy of the pattern. Did I write it on there? No. Did I? And my sock. Yeah, I had that pattern as well. Did I write it on there? No. And certainly for this one, the plain vanilla, I have my little cheat sheet. There's no note on there about what date. So maybe you don't care. Some people don't care. I actually like to know, like, when did I start, when did I finish.
How long?
So
I'll say
it's just interesting.
But I knew when I started these, because we cast on that night during the sock week.
You know what is handy is that I've gone back to the podcast and been like, when did I start this?
Exactly.
And be like, let me work this back. And then this sweater I actually knew when I started because of the class. Otherwise, because I didn't create the project for this until, I don't know.
Well, and then I have
halfway through the class.
I have other ones where, like, I know I want to do it, so I create the project. It's like almost cast on, and then it's like I didn't actually start it for a month after I did it.
I should do that, because then I won't forget.
Mm-hmm.
Or I just need to when I think of it, do it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
really.
The other thing I have promised myself I'm going to do in August is finish my black sweater.
Yeah.
I have that sweater I started.
You said you weren't going to let yourself cast a new sweater on.
I know, but then
But you cast it on and then you finished.
No, but I mean the ranunculus. It was
yeah.
But one of the reasons I'm allowing myself to do this is because I knew where the yarn was, and do you know what? I looked in Ravelry at my project notes on the black sweater. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, because I don't even know where it is. I don't know what project bag it's in. I looked. The project bag I was using for that now has a different project in it.
Uh-oh.
So I have no idea where the sweater is.
Missing. That's like my socks for Ollie, which were missing for a long time, but they were under stuff.
Yeah.
What was I going to say about... Oh, I also still have my avalanche sweater, which I'm working on the sleeves.
Right.
But you know what?
You're done with that, right?
It's a bulky white sweater, so I'm not going to wear it right away. So I'm gonna allow myself to finish it later. Mm-hmm. But I will finish it, I promise.
Yeah. You'll be excited. Like when the weather turns chilly, if you
want
to by then you'll be like, I can knock this out and then I can wear it. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Do we have any other whips or anything else to talk about?
I don't think so.
I think we might be done.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you again for watching, and thank you for liking and subscribing down below.
And all your comments.
And all of your comments and all of that fun stuff. We really appreciate it. We read everything. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook and Ravelry, all as Shop Yarnia. And
sign up for the newsletter. Is the best way to really hear about everything that's happening here.
And sign up for the Vanilla Sock Knit Along.
Yeah, definitely.
I keep thinking of it. Oh, it's starting in August. It's in a month.
Yeah,
no,
I keep thinking August is a month away, and it's like 4 days.
Well, by the time this goes up, too, it'll be like usually goes up on Saturday.
It'll be a day.
So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Happy crafting.